All right. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to Geekery Abides, episode 19. If you're following us over from the Dark Tower side, you have to appreciate the number of the episode.
Let's see.
That's pretty fun. Always love some 19s in our lives. But yeah, we are here back on normal. We were obviously thrown off a bit because of the Vegas trip. We ended up coming to you from a Monday afternoon, so very weird.
So less than 2 weeks until this episode.
Yeah, a little bit closer to the last episode than normal, but we are here for episode 19, ready for some fun, spooky season type stuff. But let's go ahead and hit the intro, and then we will get started.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
All right. Hello, and welcome to episode 19 of Geekery Abides. My name is Tad, and with me is Peter. We are here in the land of spookiness in October.
It is prime spooky season, that is for sure.
Indeed. I mean, all year for me is spooky season, but this is certainly the best time.
Absolutely.
This is the beachfront property for such shenanigans. But yeah, we're here. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Like I said, this is episode 19. If you want to email us, first of all, if you can do that to directly to either of us at either peter@geekeryabides.com or Tad, T-A-D-D, at geekeryabides.com. We kind of split the episodes half and half. I do odds, Peter does evens. If you have any feedback on a previous show, advice for a future show, feedback of any kind, whatever you have, send it to one of us, and we will definitely see that and read that. Next up, what have you been watching, reading, playing? So what have you been up to?
I think you should go first this time. I always go first.
I don't know. We alternate.
Do we?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go first. Wrong screen.
I think we usually do it to where the person hosting doesn't go first, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, we do. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad. I really haven't been playing anything. If I do play, it's been a few minutes of 7 Days to Die here and there between the Vegas trip last weekend, and then this weekend's been crazy as well. Birthday stuff for my daughter. She just turned 11. I did finish the 6th Harry Potter book. I'm now in book 7, Deathly Hallows. Watching, though, on the other hand, I have watched a ton of shit. I rewatched Heat.
Michael Mann's
It's been a
Heat.
while since I watched Heat.
It's a great movie, man.
Fucking fantastic film. I introduced my daughter to The Mummy. We watched that last Sunday before football and everything. And then just last night, yesterday afternoon, I should say, before afternoon actually, yesterday morning, we went and saw Nightmare Before Christmas on the big screen for the 30th anniversary. So
Oh, nice.
one of my wife's all-time favorite movies and everything. Really fun to see that on the big screen and see it in full detail. There's caught things that I've never seen before. Realize that some of the knickknacks my wife has bought is actually straight from the movie. I'm like, oh, hey, that's where that comes from, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then we both did go with my wife and our buddy Hayden to go see Exorcist Believer.
Yeah, we did back on the 12th.
12th, yeah.
So a little about 9 days ago.
Yeah.
Ish, somewhere in there.
And then also watched all of Harley Quinn Season 3 and The Fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah, there's been a lot to watch.
A lot. That's all I've been doing is watching stuff, apparently. So, what about you?
For me, Fall of House of Usher, The Exorcist Believer, you covered that. Loki.
Oh, shit, I forgot Loki.
Loki is now...
I am behind an episode. I did
now
not watch
going?
the newest episode yet. I forgot about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I totally forgot.
Interesting.
With everything going on yesterday. And so what happened is that I watched The Fall of the House of Usher Sunday morning. I started it. I watched 2.5 episodes, and then my family woke up, and then I watched episodes 3, 4, and 5 throughout the week after work. And then at that point, that was Wednesday, I decided, okay, My wife has Thursday off all day. I'm going to have her catch up, and then on Friday, we're going to watch 6, 7, and 8 together. So I just completely forgot about Loki with Fall of the House of Usher dominating everything about this week.
Well, I will tell you, it was a great episode.
Ah, damn it.
It was a great
I
episode.
need to go watch it.
I damn near forgot. It was late in the day before I got around to it. But then I've also, I can't remember when it was. It was probably been a year or more back. But I decided, based on a bunch of people I follow on Twitter that hyped up an older show that I started binging and I've kind of stalled out in the 6th season on, and I jumped back in finally, is ER.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, just a couple, it's actually funny because it's writers that I've seen that have tweeted about it and stuff. And there's one writer where he was like, it's one of the best shows, like in terms of storytelling.
Really?
Like, and just it's a serial or not serialized, or it is somewhat serialized, but it's also kind of a procedural. But it's just like and it's just funny because it's like even before he had like stated it outright, like whenever he'd bring up examples, I'd constantly see him use either X-Files or ER, and I was just like, you know what? I was too young. My parents dug it a ton. In fact, my fat cat that you knew when we became friends originally was Chloe.
Oh, yeah.
And
She was huge.
I just realized recently she was named after a character in ER.
Oh, is she really?
So, yeah, I learned that like last night. So, I was just like, yeah, I'll jump in and dive in and see what this is all about. So I've been watching that, dove back into I think the 6th season or so. There's like 15 seasons, so I don't know if I'm going to carry all the way through to the end in one go. I'll probably stall out
see.
again. But it's just a good little show to like, I need 40 minutes, just throw an episode on while I'm eating or whatever. It's one of those kind of shows. It fits perfect for that. So
you don't know what else to watch. You don't have anything else to watch. You have this to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I've been missing recently is I need something like that. I don't have that.
Yeah, indeed. And then I'm reading the Dark Tower series, doing my first reread in a couple of years. It's been a lot of fun. I just finished book 4. I am currently in book 5.
The best.
I am currently God, they're waiting for the town folk to approach them on the trail. So very early on.
Very early on.
And then about a week ago, we were back from Vegas already, so I had most of the weekend. But I realized Spider-Man 2 was fastly approaching, so I decided I'm going to jump back in. I thought I had a game that was like 99% completion, and I just had to finish the last little bit. Turns out I wasn't. I think that must have been a previous playthrough. I think I'm 100% of that game like 3 or 4 times now. So I loaded it up, and I was at like 85% of this on the current play. So I'm like, I don't know if this is 4th or 5th time through. So I played as much as I could because I wanted to get back into the mechanics. I'm like, let me make sure I'm versed in the controls of Spider-Man.
Ready for Spider-Man 2.
Exactly. So I dove in, played that a bit over last weekend.
Oh, bless you. That's only on PS5, right? It hasn't come out for any other system yet.
Yeah. And
so PC people being punished.
So I jumped in yesterday, downloaded it, came out yesterday, played a bit. Doing the prep for these shows has been very hard because I did take the dive into Spider-Man 2. I haven't finished 1 for the 4th or 5th time, but I don't need to. It's been great so far. So that's
gonna play some more tonight and tomorrow.
Probably after the show here, I'll probably go grab some food, and then I'll probably come home tonight and grab me a glass of whiskey and play me some Spider-Man 2. So that's going to probably be dominating my playing for the next little while. If it's anything, because Spider-Man is one of the few games that I recall since being a kid when we had games were expensive. Parents would buy you so many. With those, that doesn't count. But like Spider-Man is one of the only ones as an adult that I've ever played, finished it, and legitimately just went and restarted the game and right from the get-go.
I've done that with I think 3 games in my life, and Spider-Man was one of them.
It's just so good.
I instantly knew that I had to replay it as soon as I finished. I'm like, I can be a better Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I upped the difficulty and turned a couple settings differently and everything like that.
Yeah.
The problem I had the first time through Spider-Man is the subtitles were too small.
Oh.
I didn't realize that you could adjust like the subtitle size.
Oh, I usually turn off subtitles off unless I have a concern of some kind.
I always leave subtitles on in games because there are so many things that I miss if I don't have them on. So, because I don't have a really good. You have a soundbar, right? I don't. I have TV speakers, and the problem I have is that I'm finding out more and more companies are programming the sound to be like, oh, you have a 5.1 surround sound.
Yeah, you usually have to default. You got to go in and change it.
You have to go in and change it. I found that out. I actually found that out with Heat, watching that on Netflix, that it's not just a one-time change of the settings. I've been seeing reels and stuff like that online about "Oh, you got to go change this on Netflix." It's not a one-time thing. It's every time you
Oh,
turn something on. I'm
That's
like,
a bummer.
fucking hell, Netflix! You're gonna raise the prices again, but you can't fix that.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, let's go on over to the news. The first one's an interesting one here. C-3PO's head from A New Hope is on the market, and it is they are expecting it to fetch $1.2 million.
Good lord.
That's nuts.
This is what Anthony Daniels wore, not
in A New Hope. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was wondering if it was like something from Empire where he got.
No, it says from A New Hope. So
From A
this
New
this would
Hope.
be the
Okay.
original prop. So
What he wore.
yeah,
Interesting.
original costume. I don't know how you call it proper costume, but yeah. And it was funny because they had some other stuff as part of the auction, but nothing else came even close.
Yeah.
I clicked on the article and it was things like there was a shirt from Indiana Jones from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's cool.
One of his whips, but each of those are like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So it was just like everything was like under half of what 3PO's head was going to fetch. So I was like, wow, that's
Star Wars.
Yeah, original movie too. So
Yep.
that's pretty cool. Go ahead and if you're a rich person, go ahead and buy yourself Goldenrod's head. That's fun.
If you want my address after you do, let me know.
No, you can't be trusted. You're a hater. I will rip Chewie you again, sir.
No, you won't.
I will do some
No.
psychological warfare on you.
Nope.
All right, next up, fun one. Patrick Stewart is still pushing for a Picard movie, and he already has a director in mind.
Interesting.
He was asked in an interview recently if he thought the third season, because he just wrote a book too that just came out, so he's been doing a lot of interviews. And they asked if the third season of Picard closed the book on the character, and his quote as the response said, "Most probably, but never say never. I'm gently pushing Paramount to let us do a single Picard movie, not a Next Generation movie, as we've already done 4 of those. This would be an expansion and deepening of the universe as we've seen it in Star Trek Picard." And then, which I mean, I've said it before, but I will say it again.
Just hook it to my vein!
You loved the Picard show.
Yeah, I mean, the first couple seasons were fine, but the third season is like one of the best. I mean, it's some of the best Trek I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So it was great. If you're a Next Gen fan, I would recommend the whole show, but I especially recommend the third season because it's a reimagining of your childhood. It's just
Okay.
being back with the crew and stuff. So, and then the last quote from him here is he says, "I've discussed it with Jonathan, which is Jonathan Frakes, Brett, which is Brett Spiner, and LeVar, which is LeVar Burton." And he says they're all, and he goes on and says, "And they're all game." And he says Jonathan is my first choice to direct it. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
So Jonathan Frakes, longtime Trek director, has done
We just talked about him a little bit the other day, texting.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He's great. He's actually been doing some directing for some of the shows that Riker has nothing to do with, even.
Oh, really?
So with this whole revival of Star Trek, yeah, he's been doing some. Yeah, he's a great
cool.
dude behind the camera. So
Before we go on to the next one, I have to tell you a little reel that I saw the other day with Patrick Stewart with his book, in regards to his book. I didn't recognize him because he was wearing like this weird hat and everything. But he
like
took
the Newsies cap.
Yeah, he took it off when he got on. He's one of the deals that he did with his book to go around signing is that he gets to ride trains because he loves trains.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently he loves trains. So what he's doing is every time he's at a train station, he's going to their little newsstand, finding his book, and signing all the copies that are there.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, dude, that's just so fucking cool for him
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
He's like signs it, like looks up at the person recording him, and he's like, shh. Like, so someone's just gonna buy a book, not realize that it's actually signed by Patrick Stewart, and it really will be.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Next up, an interesting one. Chris Rock is a potentially, or this is news, so it is happening. Is directing a Martin Luther King movie with Steven Spielberg producing.
Wow.
So it's based on a best-selling book.
Has Rock done any directing before?
No, I pulled it up just to see. Like,
Okay.
yeah, sounds like it might be his first hack at directing.
All
but,
right, let's see.
Yeah, it's based on a bestseller book called King, A Life. So, yeah, should be interesting. Spielberg producing. That's also pretty cool.
Nice to see him have some backing.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Ridley Scott. You mentioned on the last show about the Napoleon. I haven't watched the new trailer yet, and I also have not watched the trailer for Ferrari.
Jesus God. Christ.
But Ridley Scott's Napoleon movie will have a 4+ hour director's cut that will be coming to streaming after the theatrical run. And I got a quote from Mr. Scott here. And he says, I'm working on it. It was 4 hours, 10 minutes this morning. And so what will happen is we'll screen the theatrical cut first with Sony, and then it has its run. And then the perfect thing is that the director's cut is going to go to streaming, and we will have a 4 hour 10, which will be 4 hour 10 minutes.
Good Lord.
And let me just state as a general rule, when it comes to director's cuts, they're hit or miss. When it's longer, way longer especially, it's hit or miss. But with Ridley Scott, if there's a director's cut,
It's always better.
it's always better. And if it's long, it's always great.
It's so good. Gladiator, extended cut.
Yeah. Ridley Scott is one of those that he's just a fucking legend, but I feel like he tends to get lost in the Scorseses and the Spielbergs and like, some of these other dudes that you tend to like drop him when you're carrying great directors in your mind, but he's one that should not, because he is fucking incredible.
It's awesome. And I will say that I have watched the new trailer. I watched it last night. I will say,
yeah.
Buckle up, dude. It's going to be a hell of a ride for this movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I actually saw something where he was saying, God, what movie was it? Was it Joker? Or wait, was Joaquin in the new movie from the dude that did Midsommar, Ari Aster? Bu is Beautiful. Was that Joaquin Phoenix?
I don't remember that movie at all.
Want
me to look it up?
I can be. Bu is Afraid, not Bu is Beautiful. That is Ari Aster's. It is okay. So it was this movie too in the press for it. I think it was this. Maybe not though. It was one of his more recent movies. Maybe it was even Joker. That Ridley Scott's like, yeah, he's like, I just saw what Joaquin did in this movie, and he's just so great.
Wasn't it Joker?
He's like, I had to cast him in Napoleon, and I'm like, imagine this. Ridley Scott, you're so fucking legendary that you forgot Gladiator in your fucking filmography that you had Joaquin Phoenix.
That you worked with him.
Like, imagine being able to just forget a movie like Gladiators in your goddamn arsenal, for God's sake. So next up, there's a rumor, and this is that Seinfeld might have a reunion or a reboot or some kind in the works. Jerry was doing a speaking thing, and someone with a cell phone video recorded him being asked if he liked the ending to the show. It's kind of a very divisive ending. I don't know. You haven't really watched Seinfeld.
I have watched the last episode, though.
Oh, really? Okay.
I watched. Well, it's like the last 2 episodes, isn't it?
Yeah. And so he was.
I do know it.
He was asked about it, and he says, and also the other thing that's context for this that's good is that they were offered like massive fucking money to come back for another season. Yep. And they said no.
Yep.
So there was a lot of money on the table. And I will say, let me just read his quote here, and I'll have another little bit of analysis I wanted to throw in. He says, I have a little secret for you about the ending, but I can't really tell it. Maybe it's a secret. Here's what I'll tell you, okay? But you can't tell anybody. Something is going to happen, and it has to do with that ending. It hasn't happened yet. So yeah, that's got the internet set ablaze. My fear is it's going to be a fucking Super Bowl commercial or some dumb shit like that. But honestly, and he also said it hasn't happened yet because a lot of people also point to Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is Larry David's show. Larry David is the legendary person behind the scenes of Seinfeld. George Costanza is based on him. On Curb,
that makes sense. I never realized that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I never watched Curb Your Enthusiasm. That kind of humor is awkward, fucking horrible for me. So,
but on Curb, like it's Larry David plays Larry David. It's kind of a Seinfeld-y thing. So in that, like, there's times that like Julie Louis-Dreyfus shows up, and it's Julie Louis-Dreyfus, and Jerry Seinfeld's Jerry Seinfeld, and there's a whole episode where they're actually, I don't remember what the context of it was. I don't even think I've seen the full thing. I've just seen clips of it. But they actually have like Larry going to a set, and it's the Seinfeld apartment, and the whole crew is there, and they all start doing their thing. So it's kind of an interesting little in a bubble kind of revival of like decades later of Seinfeld. But a lot of people wondered about that, but since he says it hasn't happened yet, I would assume that's not what he's talking about. But the one other thing in analysis I would say is there is a lot of other very, I wouldn't say mid in terms of quality, because it's all subjective, but mid in terms of success shows that have gotten revivals. If you've got Seinfeld that was the #1 show for fucking almost a decade, and they were offering these people millions and millions of dollars to do another season, would they not just give them the world to make another season if they wanted to, even if a mini season or something? I don't know. It feels to me like
give me a 5-season, like a 5-episode arc of a continued story. I mean, that's what, 2.5 hours?
Something.
You know?
I mean, yeah.
Like a Seinfeld movie at this point.
Well, it also makes me laugh, or what makes me hopeful is one of my favorite subreddits is writing Seinfeld or something, and it's basically people just take newer modern things, but like, how would Seinfeld handle?
How would they handle texting, sexting? I think is one that I read once.
Yeah,
things like you said it to me because it was awkward as fuck.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. I can't wait because I love Seinfeld, and I just pray to God it's not just a fucking crypto ad or some bullshit like that, because it seems like that's been happening a lot in the last number of years, where like there's something gets teased and it turns out to just be some fucking commercial. Which, luckily it's not getting close to Super Bowl season, so hopefully that's not what it is. Next one's a big one. Probably the biggest story we've covered in terms of volume of stuff to carry. But it's MCU news. I don't know if you've heard any of this by osmosis, but Daredevil has hit the reset, and Marvel is entirely changing how they're going to be doing television. I don't know how much of this you've seen.
I have seen quite a bit. So let me say what I've seen. Daredevil's getting completely scrapped.
Well, let me just let me just cover it. So this is from the Hollywood Reporter. So this isn't just like some shitty offbeat news website or whatever, or like rumor website that mongers a bunch of shit. This is the Hollywood Reporter, so this is legit. Basically, it started back in June during the writer's strike. Half of Daredevil Reborn had already been shot, and Kevin Feige was reviewing the material that they had up to that point, and came to the conclusion that what they had was not working.
Yeah.
So, so after the strikes resolved, Marvel fired the head writers and the director for the rest of the episodes, and are now looking for new writers and directors. So since WandaVision, Marvel has put out 50-plus hours of TV, but they have not really followed the general TV model of pilots. But they've shot entire $150 million seasons on the fly, and then just kind of like came afterwards and like, what did we learn type thing. Like, not kind of more shooting from the hip more than anything.
Not having a plan ahead of time.
Yeah. So they did not have showrunners, but relied on executives to run the series, much like and like the films, relied on post-production and reshoots to fix any problems. So anyone that has had some issues with a lot of the Marvel stuff might be kind of pointing
vindicated
at this point.
Yeah. They might be feeling a Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine-Nine vindication. I mean, do they have a point now? When we find out details like this,
I've definitely not hated it as much as some people have, but there's been a lot of meh coming out of Marvel TV.
Yes.
So next up, my next part of the note, they have been facing creative challenges and far less love from the critics and fans as time has gone on, obviously. So basically, Marvel intends to right the ship, starting with Daredevil, with one, and which is obviously one that has sky-high expectations, because the Netflix show was brilliant. So
amazing.
I think if there's
3 seasons of pure gold.
Yeah, if there's one thing they can't fuck up, it's Daredevil, because it's already been proven how you do it right. So if they fuck it up, they're gonna lose all credibility.
Yes,
entire. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, sources told the Hollywood Reporter that people have people have just, according to the Hollywood Reporter, that the people that have just been fired crafted a legal drama that did not resemble the Netflix series at all, and in fact, you didn't even see Matt in the Daredevil costume until the fourth episode.
What the fuck? He's established. He even has like the yellow in his uniform now from She-Hulk and everything, and you're not going to have him on camera for 4 fucking episodes.
Now, I don't entirely hate the idea of a legal drama, though. I think that's interesting.
But you have Foggy for that.
No, but I mean, there's even like full, like really great Daredevil runs that they've done in the comics where it's way more about the courtroom than it is the streets. I do think you've got to balance it, though, but I don't entirely hate the idea. And I actually hope for that a little bit in season 2 of Daredevil, which is my least favorite season, because it didn't really pan out to be in like the trial of Frank Castle. Like that all just kind of was fugazi, and it just kind of petered out. There wasn't a lot to it. And going into that season, the way they hyped it and the way they publicized it, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be like Trial of the Century, Frank Castle with, and it just didn't end up being that. And like, it's not a bad season, but it's the weakest of the three, in my opinion, of the Netflix series. So I don't hate the idea. I just think that they've got to be reevaluating things if you don't have him showing up in costume for 4 episodes.
No.
Or for 3 full episodes, and then somewhere into the 4th.
I have a problem with what you're saying. The problem I have is that while it works in comic format to have a character do something different like that, no one wants to see Iron Man be a techie guy for 10 episodes.
No, but that's different because legal dramas are some of the most popular go-to things that there are.
But it's also still a superhero show.
Okay, but here's the thing. Everyone's getting kind of tired of superheroes the way that they are. So what they really need to do is start looking at how can they do things differently, because just doing the same old sky beam big battles at the end, not that that would be Daredevil, but because some people are getting kind of tired of the same old tropes, this is the perfect time to start experimenting. But I do think you've got to balance it out. I would say maybe go like a third in those first few episodes. You can go like a third Daredevil, but then like 2/3 like court case, and make the court stuff heavy, because Netflix hasn't really done that yet. It would allow you to do something that, so you're not always being compared to them, but you got to have some Daredevil stuff being mixed in there for sure.
But see, again, you're kind of contradicting yourself, because you're saying that Netflix laid the blueprint for how to do it, but then you're going to not follow that blueprint still.
Yeah,
which is why Feige's scrapping this, is because it wasn't good. And that's where I pull with what we know so far, is that a court drama with Daredevil not showing up for 4 episodes, that's not what people want. I've seen no one say that this was, oh, why are they doing that? I wanted that, You're the first person I've heard say that.
No, I've seen some people were, again, not saying that should be the entirety of like 3 episodes, but there are some people who are like, yeah, that's something that Netflix hasn't hit yet. That would be something interesting to do. And again, just kind of, because the other thing too that they got to come to grips with is they don't have the Netflix people here. So should they try to replicate exactly what Netflix did? Because they don't have the same writers, the same people behind it. So are they going to end up trying to be the same thing and then falling short?
They just fired everyone. Can they go get them?
Well, no, they never had those people.
Can they go get them though? I'm not saying that they had them. I'm not saying they have them now. I'm saying can they go get them?
I don't know.
Would you be opposed if they did?
No. I mean, I would say fucking scrap everything they've got and go back to those people that already had a plan for season 4.
Right.
But some of them have already come out publicly and said that basically Disney's a fucking criminal organization, and this whole
that's the reason why they never worked for it. No.
Well, the whole rebranding it and changing it to a whole new show, even though you're continuing it on, is all a scam, because in their union contracts at like the 4 seasons where they have to start paying like more into like their benefits and their retirement, and so it's basically just like, you hear about these like really sleazy companies that like, oh well, benefits are at 90 days, so they carry everyone for 89 days and fire everyone and get a whole new crew in, and it's that kind of deal. So I think there's a lot of the old Netflix people that have already kind of got entrenched where they're like, fuck Disney, and they probably already moved on to other projects. But
wouldn't surprise me.
No, I just think that again, and I think it's very special for this one, because like you're saying, it's not every character that you can go into like the other side of their personalities and it'd be interesting. But courtroom dramas, like, I mean, I'm a sucker for it, man. But
how does that fit with where Matt is currently? He's very much not a lawyer anymore. He left legal practice at the end of season 3 and everything. He only came back for Peter Parker, which was a very special case and everything, and that didn't even go. That didn't even go to trial.
They're not going to follow full on with Netflix. There's no way they're going to have him out of law.
That was Marvel that did that.
They're not going to have him out of law. Netflix, Marvel did, where he was mostly moving away from law. They're not going to do that. I mean, he
was that way in She-Hulk.
Yeah,
he wasn't as much a lawyer in She-Hulk as he was Daredevil.
Well, not the context we saw him in, but he's going to still be. I mean, he's always got to have the balance. But I think that it's kind of like, I don't know. I think that he's the one that they can maybe try, but they do have to balance it out. It can't go 3 episodes. I'm definitely not arguing that. There's no way you can go that long without him. But I do think
you said 2/3 of the episode should be legal drama, though.
Yeah, I think that's
more than 3 episodes.
No. Like within each episode, like you got to have a mixture of both. But I would say you could go heavier on the on the law side, because again, like, that's something they haven't really done yet. And, like, honest, and Matt is a great fucking lawyer. We've yet to really see it, but it's like, you could do that if you write it well, because if a well-written legal drama, people fucking eat it up. I mean, every time freaking A Few Good Men's final scene comes up on YouTube's algorithm, I fucking click on it and watch it.
Sure, it's great.
Some of the best shit you could watch, but you have to write it well, certainly. But so then next up, it says Marvel's plan to keep some scenes. They plan to keep some scenes and maybe even full episodes that have already been shot, but with other elements injected. So they're likely going to
reshoot and
do some reshoots, add some stuff in there. But I wonder if a lot of the bones of what they filmed are going to stay. They're just going to parse down, add some more stuff to it, and kind of I don't think that. So everyone's just saying like, oh, it's all just being ejected. I don't think that like everything these people have done for months are going to be thrown away. I don't think that's going to happen, but they're reevaluating. Next up, TV. It says TV is generally a writer-driven medium, but the complaint of many writers who have worked on Marvel TV is that they are a very Marvel-driven product, and often after the script is finished, the writers are let go, and then the directors take over. And then the directors have complained because the whole fix-it-in-post mentality makes them feel like they hardly have any say in the final product either, because once they get it finished directed, they are cut loose, and then now it comes down to some editor or some
studio executive looking over the editor's shoulder saying, no, fix that.
Or some ringer that comes in because like, oh shit, we need reshoots, and they don't bring the same director back. So it just feels like they're very like, it's almost like when they say like the dollar bill, like no one person drew the whole thing, everyone drew like small parts of it, and then and I think that's the way Marvel's generally been doing it, and I don't think they're doing it for any like legitimately smart reason. I think they don't know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to television, and that's what
they're fixing.
They're a movie studio, and it's and like I've actually heard that even before all this blew up, where like, and we've seen it multiple times. You and I just as nerds talking before we even started this podcast, where it's like, oh, this set of writers from Loki got fired, and they're bringing another set in, and it's just like they cycle through writers like socks, and it's like Jesus Christ, and this is kind of getting into what was going on. So
it looks like that they're making some positive changes. That's what I took away from this.
Yeah, and we're definitely getting to that. So the fix and post mentality makes the directors feel like they don't. So nobody feels like they really have a true say in it. It just feels like a fucking clusterfuck of a what do you call it when everyone brings some food to a potluck. It's just like, but there's no like planning or coordination, and then
so you got a bunch of chips, a couple desserts, and no main course.
Yeah, exactly. Or 10 main courses, no sides, no plates, no drinks.
Yeah.
So going forward,
kind of like the employee barbecue in Parks and Rec by Ron.
Yeah.
Eat it with your hands. You don't even have plates, like silverware. He's so disorganized.
So going forward, Marvel intends to hire showrunners, which is a wonderful thing.
Yes.
And to help have a creative through line throughout various stages of production. They will also have full-time TV executives instead of moving executives from film to do TV, because film executives don't necessarily know how TV works, because that's the other thing. It sounds like Marvel's never really had a TV execs involved in this.
Yeah.
They're just pulling movie people over and, wondering why most of their shit.
Why isn't this working?
Yeah. So showrunners will now write pilots and have show Bibles to have less of a we'll see what we get at the end attitude that they've been having. So
no, this is what you need to hit.
Yeah.
That's correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to make sure I understand the term show Bible.
Like a show Bible, like Breaking Bad, for instance. Vince Gilligan did not know every twist and turn of that story.
Right.
But he ultimately knew there was very specific, large plot points that he knew were going to come. Like something like the family finds out. He thought Pinkman was going to die at the end of season 1, but the last writer's strike actually spared him, because while on strike, they started thinking about it, and they're like, man, we really love what this Aaron Paul guy's doing. Maybe we should keep him around. Because he was going to die at the end of season 1. Walt dying, like Walt becoming because the whole idea was Mr. Chips turns into Scarface. That was the premise of the show. So the show Bible has like all of those like things. Then as you're going from point to point is where you really flesh this stuff out.
Yes.
But you kind of know where you're going. You
know
have
it's more like an outline kind of thing.
And show Bibles can also be things like tonal things, where it's like the tone should always be this. Only this character is the only one that has storytelling ability. You're never going to jump away from this character for 20 minutes and follow a side character. Like if there's rules like that, it's going to be in your Bible.
A Batman Bible current Batman Bible would have he doesn't kill. He doesn't, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't work it during the day. Like Batman's
doesn't work
only
during
at
the
night.
day.
Like, it would be things like
Yes.
that. Like
he doesn't reveal his identity to every woman that he sleeps with. You know,
Yeah.
as Bruce Wayne. You know, like that. Those kinds of things would go in the Bible.
Yeah, those.
Okay,
so
that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
Along with kind of a rough outline of kind of where it should be going, even if it's just like a not even like story beat wise, but it could even be a tonal thing. Where again, Mr. Chips to Scarface. The end result's Scarface.
Yeah.
And here's like some, because you always know at some point the family has to find out. At some point, whatever. And then you might even add to that, right? When he sees Jane die.
Yeah.
At some point, Jesse has to find out that he knew Jane, or he saw Jane die, watched her
That
die.
gets added in
Like,
the Bible,
you add
even though that was in season 3 or 2 or
yeah,
something like
but
that.
you got to add that in because it's like, that's got to come.
Obviously,
yeah.
it's Chekhov's gun. That's
Yeah,
going to happen.
Don't drop that. So
Yeah.
that's ultimately what they're heading towards. Marvel also plans to lean into multi-season serialized TV formats
Yes.
and stepping away from limited series formats. They want to see characters given time to develop relationships with the audience rather than having it just feel like a setup for the next big event.
When I read that part of it, that's the part that stuck with me is character development.
Yeah,
I
because that's
feel
what
like-
TV should be.
I feel like that's where we're lacking so much with Marvel limited series. The
Oh,
more
yeah.
and more I look at it, there were a couple that were really good for character development. I think WandaVision was one of
but
the best
I think
ideas.
they almost accidentally fell into those.
They did. They
More
did.
than-
But Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I don't feel like there was a lot of good character development. There was character development.
Yeah,
But I don't-
I disagree. I think there was in that one because one of my biggest beefs is like at the end it shouldn't have been Captain America and the Winter Soldier. It should have been Captain America and Bucky because I think he evolved from the point
Yeah.
where he was no longer Bucky. He was no longer the Winter Soldier.
He finally broke it.
He broke it.
He
Yeah, so
broke the.
I feel and I feel like Loki, Falcon Winter Soldier, and WandaVision are the three that I feel actually did some good towards character
Secret
development.
Invasion.
But yeah, there's some of these others where it's just like, what the fuck is going on here, man?
Yeah.
Like,
She-Hulk was okay story, but what character development did we ever get from anyone?
but my biggest beef with a lot of these is like, I don't want a TV show that just feels like a 6-hour movie. And I feel
Which
like
is what we've gotten.
And every time I hear a filmmaker be like, yeah, I'm doing this show, it's just gonna be like a 6-hour movie. I'm like, so all you're telling me is you don't know shit about television.
Yeah.
You're just gonna make a 6-hour movie. You're not gonna make a television show.
You're not going to make me have the
like
ups and downs.
WandaVision was a fucking television show.
Yes.
That show understood, those people behind that show understood what fucking television is, and they built a show that was a show. It didn't feel like a 6-hour movie.
It's like we started off really strong with those three, Loki, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And I have my qualms with Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And WandaVision. WandaVision's my favorite still. Out of everything that they put to Disney Plus limited series, WandaVision's still my favorite. MCU-wise. Let me clarify that before you cut my head off for saying that after Ahsoka and everything. But seriously, WandaVision was amazing. But looking back on She-Hulk, man, I don't know if I'll ever rewatch it.
Yeah.
I don't know. The thing that I think is important is that where is that going to tie in? Where is this going? That I think that's the big thing with MCU is that I feel like the wheels are just spinning in mud right now.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had so many limited series, and yes, the pandemic plays a part of that. We've had so many mini-series, limited series, and we've had some movies.
Like I said, 50-something hours of TV that they've done.
50-something hours of TVs, and where are we?
Yeah.
Where are we, Tad?
I mean, there's a lot. There's been quite a bit established for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, ultimately, I don't hold that against anything because I mean, there's people complaining about that with the movies too because it's like ultimately this feels like phase 2, and phase 2 felt that way with people where they're like, where are we going with this? Like this just feels. But down the road after phase 3 was over, you look back to phase 2 and went, oh shit.
There's the time stone.
There was a lot of
stone.
There's a
there's
lot
the
of
stone.
a lot of the Tony stuff. Like there was a lot of bridges built that we didn't understand at the time. It felt like, dude, this is not as good as the last phase 1.
Yeah.
But then as you look back after phase 3 is over, you look back at phase 2 and go, oh, you know what? They kind of knew what they were talking about. So I'm still holding out some hope that that's where we're at now. We just don't have the clairvoyance to know the bricks they're laying now for the future.
I think the problem with that, I think you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think the problem with that also is that when people are looking at it as phase 2, is that we don't have those linchpin movies that are holding us over. Where's my Age of Ultron? We we haven't had an Avengers movie now for a few years, and it's
Yeah. But it's
I need my fix, man.
yeah, but it's a different. I think they're building a different thing because ultimately the Avengers don't exist right now for all intents and purposes.
And that's what I'm saying is like that's my goes back to my analogy of where are we going? I feel like we're stuck in the mud. We got, but it feels like they're building the Avengers.
Yeah,
They
are.
keep feel like they're building something,
and the
it's
Young
been,
Avengers.
and it's been going for what 4 or 5 years now, where we haven't.
Yeah, well, and they're still logged.
How long ago was Endgame?
There's 19.
Yeah, 4 years. We're going on 5 years now. Bless you. Bless you.
Oh, I don't
We're
know.
going on 5 years now without any of that, but we keep hinting at that, but we're not getting there.
Yeah.
So it feels, for me, the MCU is starting to feel stagnant because, yes, again, how many heroes are we going to introduce before something happens?
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I've loved a lot of what MCU has put out in the last 5 years since Endgame. I loved Spider-Man. I loved Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
That was one of my
Guardians.
Guardians was great. Conclusion, though.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of the stuff is building. Elementals is building and has been completely fucking ignored.
There's a lot of people worried about both Eternals and Shang-Chi because we haven't seen anything about timelines for their next movie. So it's like,
what? Yeah, exactly.
I really do think they are reeling from the pandemic. There's a logjam of movies that should have already been released that haven't been released. There was shit that got kiboshed because like the COVID killed a lot of shit when it came. Like, so I think I am going to give them some break, but I am starting to doubt Feige a little bit. And I've given him the benefit of the doubt, where I'm like, I just don't doubt him. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if he's just taking on too much. But those are only small doubts in my mind still because of what he's accomplished up to this point. I'm still going to generally give him the benefit of the doubt. And I don't think a lot of this stuff has his eyes on it. Like, for instance, why was it until June that he was watching almost half the episodes of Daredevil before he's like, this doesn't work? Because he's not there day to day watching.
It's the writer's strike that brought it in, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
it was out being made, and it wasn't until the writer's strike where they had to turn everything in that he was given. That's what someone said. I saw that in a video.
Is he not signing off on scripts?
He's not hands on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just
because there's too much. He needs a second and third in command.
Yeah.
Give me. Well, we have this over in Star Wars. We have
Favreau and Filoni.
Filoni, and even a little bit before we had Kathleen Kennedy as well.
Well, she's still there. She's the producer.
She is still there.
Yeah, she's the big
we
one.
We have more than one person. I feel like Feige needs some help. I feel like
problem is he's lost most of them because James Gunn, the whole thing happened there. The Russos are largely saying they want to do other things for a while,
and they're gone. That's what I'm saying. I think Feige needs some help, and I would love to see a Feige A and a Feige B come into fruition. Maybe one that does television, maybe one that does movies, and then they get together, the three of them, and they Feige the fuck out of this and get this fixed.
And again, I don't even want to say fixed yet because, I mean, the TV side, there's a lot of issues. But the overall MCU side, I'm still not willing to say there's really a big problem because I still think that we're in the dark. I think there's a lot of people that are just like, you know, they kind of like saw the Thanos tease, and so they like in their minds they had everything mapped out, and then they were pissed when it wasn't the second Avengers movie. But it's like they still kind of knew what was going on. I feel like right now that we kind of know a couple things because of titles of movies, but overall I think some people are just pissed because they don't know what's coming and they don't fully see how the lines are being drawn yet. And I think that is
frustrating.
Those people are wrong though, because it's not your job as an audience member to know the future. Like, I know comic book fans want that. They want to be the one that knows the most and shit. That's not your fucking place. You're an audience member.
Yeah.
Sit down, fucking watch, and enjoy the goddamn ride.
Right.
In my mind. I can even get to that way where I'm like, God damn it. And finally I checked myself in phase 3 where I was like, so often I was not enjoying a singular movie because I was just looking at how it played into the larger thing. And I finally realized I was doing that and consciously stopped doing that. I'm like, I don't care about the let me just fucking dwell in a movie.
Let me watch Spider-Man 2.
And then let it unfold, enjoy it for a while, and then down the road, I'll start thinking about how it applies. But there was like times I was walking out of the theater immediately going, okay, well now XYZ might be next. And I was just,
Lydia and I did notice when that happened is because you were so focused. And there was a couple times we got in the car and I'm like, did we talk about the movie we just watched? And she's like, no. And I'm like, really? She's like, no, all you guys, because we always talk after the theater, and there's usually 4 or 5 of us, and my wife's there, but she's not a big talker. She's a little bit of an introvert, so she does a lot of listening though. And then I talk to her in the car driving home, and I'm like, did we talk about the movie that we just watched? She's like, no, you guys seriously for 20 minutes talked about what's next and what your predictions are and everything like that. And I think that subconsciously I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Because then we started talking more and more about the films that we're watching.
Yeah.
And what was good and what was bad on it and everything like that. We had talks about Black Panther 3.
Yeah.
Where there was a couple things that I didn't like. There was things that you loved and didn't like and everything like that.
2.
Black Panther 2? 2,
There
right.
hasn't been a
2.
third one
no,
yet.
No, just 2.
Like, if you could have heard the internet
I
dial-up sound in my head.
saw your eyes go into. Wait, hold on.
I was like doing equations and shit. I'm like,
Yeah, it's that gif of the guy where the math all pops up on the screen with him.
yeah, pretty much. So last note I have here, this is just me saying it. Not likely that Daredevil Reborn is actually coming out next year like it was supposed to. Most likely the earliest is 2025. But even then, that might even be stretching it.
You know what?
I'd rather him do it right.
Yes,
but I'm just saying the heartbreak part is that it is no longer coming next year like we thought.
You know what? Honestly, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
I've waited this long. It's to the point where I've waited this. It's the way we feel about Dark Tower, right?
Oh yeah, just do it right.
I've waited this long. Just do it right.
Yeah, but
don't give me something
there's
shitty.
That small part of you though, where you're just like, God damn it. All right, so that's like I said.
I know. Sorry, we got off.
No, I knew that. I knew that one would be big because that's huge. That's like that's not
okay.
just one project. That's like redefining the entire MCU television wise.
I hope that it fixes, and I hope the television becomes television because limited series is limiting. It is. It's in the name. It's limiting.
It is.
But if you give me television and you give me X-Men in television,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That's where they should do X-Men. If they're going to go this route with television. And they're going to make that... Dude, fucking put X-Men on there.
Well, X-Men 97.
No, give me full-on live-action X-Men. Give me 7 seasons of X-Men. Don't give me 2 movies and sprinkle them in here or there in other MCU movie projects. Give me 7, 8 seasons of live-action, high-quality fucking X-Men. Give me Magneto. Give me Cyclops. Give me Wolverine. Give me my boy Gambit. Give me Beast. All of them. Do them all and do it right.
Yeah. All right, so moving to the next one here. Halloween TV rights have been acquired by Miramax.
I heard about this.
And there are indeed still films coming. I know there were some foolish people that thought Halloween Ends meant the end of everything. Now, of course, it was the end of, like, that trilogy. It was the end of, like, probably the Laurie Strode element. But there's no way that a slasher will stay dead forever.
No, it's... Slashers need sequels.
But Halloween and TV, that's an interesting idea. I do kind of hope, I don't know, I think they're planning a whole expansive thing. I'm kind of hoping that a Halloween 3 comes out of this in some way. Just like an anthology type like crazy shit that happens on Halloween. Like don't just give me Michael Myers. Like, I've been saying that for a while about movies. Like, one of these days they should just do a fucking Halloween 3 riff where like it's a Halloween movie and it has nothing to do with Michael Myers.
I've still never seen 3.
This would be the perfect time to do it after Halloween Ends too. That'd be the perfect time to be like, not that would be the permanent thing, but just the next movie.
Hey,
do it. You should watch Halloween 3 this year.
Okay.
It's not Michael Myers, but it's still an interesting premise. It was John Carpenter's idea. Let's just start doing a thing where it's like crazy shit that happens on Halloween.
Yeah.
So, that is that. Next up, rest in peace to the legend Piper Laurie passed away. Most of us are King fans know her as Carrie's mom.
Oh, I didn't hear about this. That's sad.
Yeah, indeed. So I know again it doesn't fit gender-wise, but
good night, sweet prince.
Cess. Yeah, sad indeed. Next up, we got another Kingsman prequel. This is just a rumor. This is actually, we got some quotes from Matthew Vaughn, so I don't think it's like this might be happening. This is just Matthew Vaughn talking, but nothing's official right now, so who knows. So Matthew Vaughn said that he was talking about basically another prequel because he did the King's Man, which I still haven't watched. I
haven't either.
The World War I one
that came out during the pandemic, and I missed it.
It went straight to streaming, and I need to go watch it. But Matthew Vaughn says the next one is about the rise of Hitler and how Hitler did come to power and basically was supported by English aristocracy. So that's a quote from Matthew Vaughn. Then he goes on and says, I was like, well, that's interesting, and how the world was worrying so much about communism that fascism rose up. And I look at the world at this moment, and everyone is getting distracted and worrying about this and that. And if you worry too much about this bad thing, then this bad thing can happen over here. So it is a story that I think needs to be recalled. We're calling it The Traitor King.
Ooh.
So, again, no green
like
lights, no anything, but we'll see what comes of that. Can't wait. Hopefully that happens. I do need to watch the Kingsman because the Kingsman stuff is fun. Kingsman 3 is still in development. It should be the third movie with Eggsy, so that should be fun.
Is that still Matthew Vaughn as well?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep, that's all him. The next up, we also have rest in peace to Burt Young. He was in Chinatown, but most people probably know him as Paulie from Rocky, as well as he had a short stint on The Sopranos. So,
Good night, sweet prince.
he was in his 80s, which is crazy because he was in The Sopranos like 20 years ago and he looked like he was on the verge of death.
Yeah.
But that was probably like makeup and acting,
Yeah.
because he was portrayed as like a really old guy with emphysema.
Paulie's the like trainer in
the
Rocky.
brother. No,
Oh,
the brother.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
well,
I was like the
no,
trainer. I was like,
um,
good God, he was ancient back then.
Are you two still living?
How are you still living?
No. He's
The brother. Okay.
Adrian's brother. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Rocky's best friend.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the one that kind of takes advantage of Rocky constantly, where he's like, hey, these guys say if I do this, like, they'll give me money. And he's just like, Rocky's always cool with it, but he always just feels like he's kind of just
Sleazy.
a little bit sleazy.
Yeah.
He's the one with the robot and, like, I think Rocky 5.
Yeah.
All right, next up, more bad news. Deadpool 3 has been delayed again.
Yeah, we knew that was
We already
coming,
kind
right?
of knew that was probably in the tea leaves, but this
Yeah.
is now officially, it is not coming out on May 3rd, 2024, because of the ongoing strike with SAG-AFTRA.
Just pay him.
Pay the fucking actors.
For
You-
God's sake.
You're not going to win. You have no...
We already saw what happened with the writers. You're not going to win. Just give them what they fucking want and move on. You're still going to make fucking millions. For God's sake.
Yeah. So next up, I know we're going a long time on news here, but we also didn't do news last couple episodes.
Yes,
So there's been a lot
we had to
cover.
catch up a little bit.
Yeah. The last one is also angering. So apparently, what, you heard this?
No, I'm already a
Bracing?
little bit. Yeah.
So Sony blocked No Way Home from using Kraven the Hunter.
What the fuck? Why?
Okay, first of all, before we dive into the quotes, do you recall a couple years ago, before said movie came out, what was I saying? The
Kraven.
perfect third movie for this fucking trilogy would be Kraven the Hunter.
He has a target. That's what you said.
Yeah, I was just saying it
When
would be...
Peter Parker was unmasked at the end of
Yeah.
Far From Home,
Yeah,
that's the perfect setup for Kraven.
dude, perfect.
It's the perfect setup because now he has a target. He doesn't only target Spider-Man, but he's also going to target Peter Parker.
Yeah. Yeah. So John Watts...
That's what you said.
John Watts apparently had the same idea. So first I have a quote from Tom Holland, and he says, for a long time there was going to be a Kraven movie that was going to be the third movie because things weren't working out and all sorts of different stuff. John pitched me this Kraven movie, which was actually really cool. I don't want to talk about it in case the movie ends up happening down the line, but it was fun. Essentially Sony said no because they wanted to do a Kraven solo movie, and this is just my adding to it, saying a movie that is most likely going to flop because of Sony.
Didn't it come out already?
No, it's not come out yet. It comes out next year.
Oh, really?
And that's my last note. Kraven the Hunter is scheduled for release August 30th, 2024. I wish it all the best. I'm never going to hope for a movie to fail, but Sony is Sony. So
I'm really, really starting to dislike everyone at Sony. They fucked me on a couple specific things that I'm just like,
yeah.
you bastards.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we've got a closing argument, and I do have to say, one of these days I'm gonna have to go through all the episodes because we haven't really kept good track. I think we both lost some.
I have 2-0 for you and 1-1 for me is what I have listed as the score.
Yeah, I think we've done more than that though.
Oh.
I think we both thought that last time we did it, we were like, God, I think we both missed one. So I'm gonna have to go through at some point.
I don't think I ever marked you down as one for fail on one.
Yeah,
The only one that failed was me with Anakin.
I'm still, I don't know. I'm still wondering if we missed one. So I might have to go through, which it'll be nice because it was only recently. I think it would have been, any we missed would have been when we had at the end of the episode. So it should be easy to just go in and listen to the last 10 minutes of every episode. But I do have one for you.
Okay.
It is on topic, spooky season.
Okay.
I know we just spent a good chunk of the episode on news, but it is spooky season talk. So, closing argument, you can choose your destiny here. Ultimate Scream Queen, Jamie Lee or Nev Campbell?
Scream Queen. It's a little unfair for me because I haven't seen everything that Jamie Lee has done, but Prom Night, I hear, is one of her prominent Scream Queen ones.
Yeah.
I kind of got to give it to her for that. Solely just, I mean, she did it in multiple versus Nev only did it in one.
Yeah.
You know, but Nev did do more movies. Well, no, she didn't now that Jamie's come back.
That'd be a good one. So there's been 5 Scream movies with Nev Campbell. There's been Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween H2O, and then
Resurrection. She's in Resurrection.
Yeah. And then the 3 new movies.
Mm-hmm.
So
Call that
7?
7 or 8, depending on how you feel about Resurrection.
Yeah, I mean,
she's in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so 7.5. call it a 7 and a quarter.
7 minutes and 1 day filming a scene. Yeah. Yeah. No. So
Okay, we'll call it 7.
Even if it came down to just Halloween versus Scream, like it
If
just.
we're coming down to Halloween versus Scream, Halloween wins every time.
No, in terms of Scream Queen though.
I gotta go with Halloween because the thing is with that is if you don't, it's the age old argument: who did it best, or who did it first. You know,
Yeah.
If we don't have Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween, do we have Nev Campbell? Also, Nev Campbell as a Scream Queen, I think it's kind of insulting to Sydney.
Oh, no.
She's not a Scream Queen.
Oh yeah, she is.
She's a punch you in the face, kick you in the nuts, throw you down the fucking hill, and then put 2 in your head kind of queen.
That's most of the Scream Queens
So,
are badasses.
I mean,
Scream Queen just
Laurie
means
becomes a badass in the end. Don't get me wrong, she does. But those first 2 movies, Scream Queen. Nev Campbell in that first movie, even she dons the mask, she shoots people in the head. Not in my fucking movie. I mean,
yeah.
I gotta say,
I don't see Scream Queen as a negative. I know this is supposed to be a closing argument,
Yeah.
but I guess I've never viewed it as a negative of like pejorative, where it's like, oh, it's just, no. Scream Queen is just like you put the crown on it because like no one does horror better type thing, like in that way. And there isn't many other women in my mind that really get in that same realm.
they don't have enough movies.
Yeah, they're not as prominent. Like
Yeah.
those 2 though are kind of the fucking
The
heavy
2.
hitters. Like yeah, those are the big ones. So
I mean, my personal favorite is Halloween. I love Halloween. I think it's one of the most perfect horror movies ever made. I think it just depends on what you're looking for. You know, are you looking for the badass? Then it's Nev. But Laurie becomes such a badass in the end of those last 3 Halloween movies too.
and
So-
H2O.
And H2O, she's a badass too. Fire extinguisher. Donk. Right in
And
the back
the
of the head.
axe.
And the axe. Yeah, exactly. My God, she goes out hunting him and everything. I gotta go with Laurie.
Yeah.
She is too much of a badass. She went through so much.
I can't disagree
And
with
everything.
either. That's what I loved about this
Yeah.
one. Is like I don't have an opinion either way. Like
Yeah.
I could see either of them being.
I gotta go a little bit more with Laurie. Some of Sydney's choices in the later movies. Come on, help out. You're the queen. Get in there, fight. You know you could lure Ghostface out. You would be the absolute perfect bait. Set a trap, kick his ass, kick her ass, because it's both now for Ghostface and
Kick
everything.
their ass.
Kick their ass. Exactly.
Because you never know. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Laurie. More movies, more character development, done more of the broad stroke of what a Scream Queen is and everything. Humble beginnings and everything. Also didn't have a killer for a boyfriend, right?
She never dated Michael.
Yeah, she never dated Michael. So, yeah, we got to go with Laurie for just for that fact. She never dated the killer.
I will say.
Wait, didn't Nev do it like 3 times? Like, isn't the killer
No,
like?
I don't think she's the boyfriend. It's never the boyfriend again. That's
We
always.
thought it was in Scream 2, and it wasn't. That's
always,
what it was.
Yeah, it's always they always use it as the red herring.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare for it to be the boyfriend. I think the second to last one, or was it the last one? The one where it's like the killer was like the one that was like streaming the movies early on with the girlfriend that comes back with the sister and shit. That was I think the first time since the original that the boyfriend was actually the killer because it just you can't do the boyfriend again.
It's too obvious, right?
Um.
So I got to give it to Laurie on this one. It's the Scream Queen, right?
Indeed. So,
Never lost a case because you're so fucking good.
all right. Yeah, and I will go back through because I do really want to track these more hardcore. And I do think we may have slipped.
I think we did.
I don't think we've only because that puts us at doing 5 total in 19 episodes. That doesn't sound right. Now, I know we've missed a lot. We have.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a little bit more of a common fixture, but it just hasn't. So
we also didn't do any during Ahsoka.
yeah,
So you can skip the Ahsoka episodes, which was
brings
4.
down 4 episodes.
That's
yeah,
4. So really, it's 15 episodes.
yeah. So a
So
third
saying-
of the episode.
let's
I
say
just
a
feel like
third.
we may have at least dropped one.
At least one.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so. I'll go through and look. So
We'll figure it out.
Moving on to the main topic. It is just spooky season shenanigans. Is assorted spooky season shenanigans is what I've
Yeah,
titled it. We talked about maybe
It's
doing
the most wonderful time of the year. Jesus Christ, Dad.
what?
That's Christmas.
Am I wrong?
No.
Exactly. Christmas. I don't know. You can keep Christmas. I'll take Halloween.
Krampus?
I'll take it. Well, that's pretty awesome.
How cool is it that we're getting a Thanksgiving slasher film?
Oh, dude, I love it. I can't
Oh,
wait.
shit. Did my wife send the picture? I don't think she sent the picture. When we went to the theater yesterday, dude, they have a Thanksgiving cutout where you can put your head in.
Oh, yeah.
And you get a picture with it. It's your head on the platter, like you're the turkey.
That's great.
And so my daughter put her head in, and we took a picture, and she does the whole, like, looks like she's dead. Dude, my daughter is ready for horror films, dude. You saw her at the haunted house. We went
Yeah.
to a haunted house a couple days ago. She's all about it. She's ready.
Did it get her at all?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She all wired up at the end.
Oh,
after
yeah.
You guys went home.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
She had to have a movie on. She was freaked out.
That was good fun. All right, so I just have a couple random things to throw out. We are a little bit deeper in than I thought we would be by this point. I knew news would be heavy, but I didn't know we'd go that far.
The MCU stuff is something that we care both deeply about.
Exactly, yeah. So, what are 5 essential horror movies that you're going to give someone that has never experienced horror movies that comes to you and says, I want to dip my toes in horror?
Okay, now here's the question:
5 movies.
Dip their toes in, or they want to dive in? That's a distinction there, because I'm doing it right now with my
No,
wife.
I know, and I've done it with you, done it
So-
with Hayden. So it's just like, but what are 5 essential movies? Because like I think there's strategies and stuff, but I don't know about boiling it down to specific movies. I don't know if
Okay.
that's something I've done before. So
Ones that I always consider is Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street are 2. I generally leave off Friday the 13th. The only reason I put Friday the 13th on here for my wife is because she's already seen one. And I wanted to have her watch 3. Where,
and it doesn't have to
where
be.
he gets the
it doesn't
mask.
have to be like that you're doing with your wife. It just what would be your 5 in your tool
No,
belt?
this would actually, like, if you brought me a friend that I've never met before, and you introduced me to them, and they said, "Hey, Peter, we don't want Tad to do it because we know he's horrible and he will torture us, but I want you to give me 5 horror movies." I think I would absolutely do Halloween. I would absolutely do Nightmare on Elm Street. I would absolutely do Scream. See the new slasher. New, fuck, it's almost 30 years old. Jesus Christ, man.
It's true.
Then you got to change it up. Then you got to do something different. You got to do a possession kind of movie. Because we got 2 slasher, 2.5 slashers.
That's why I was like, you got heavy on slashers.
I don't know about
Nah.
I don't know about Freddy.
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't know about Freddy being necessarily a slasher. I know he gets categorized there.
Yeah,
but
supernatural
it is a little bit
slasher.
supernatural. So
He's supernatural in nature, but he's still a slasher.
he's a little bit different though. He feels different than a Michael
Yeah.
or Jason comes
Yeah,
stalking
but he's still-
after
he's still
you
a
or
slasher,
Ghostface. Absolutely. No, but it's still
It's
2.5 slashers.
It's got a different flavor to it, but it's still a
Yes.
slasher.
So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna save The Exorcist.
Okay.
That's too good. You can't.
I do think I probably blew that one a little early on both you and Hayden, which is fine because it's you're
Yeah.
diving to the deep end right away. But I did if I were to re-strategize, I don't think I would use that one on either of you two as early as I did.
So I would keep Exorcist in my back pocket. I would keep stuff like The Thing in my back pocket. So I need a possession movie. I'd either go with Amityville Horror or Poltergeist, depending on the person.
Okay.
If they have kids, Poltergeist. If they don't, Amityville Horror.
Okay. Even though there's kids with Amityville Horror too.
Amityville Horror doesn't have the kids get taken. Nothing happens to the kids really as much. which is why I would go with that. And then the other one, oh, dude, Hereditary. That's a heavy hitter. I don't know if I want to see. I want to keep those heavy hitters for round 2.
Yeah.
You know, start them off with some horror.
What's your
and
opening
like
barrage,
that.
basically?
Yeah. What's your opening salvo kind of look like?
Yeah.
You know what? I might take Nightmare on Elm Street off.
Okay.
I'm going to take Nightmare on Elm Street off. I'm going to put on. I'm going to put on Saw.
Okay.
The original OG Saw. That's such a good movie.
Oh, it is indeed.
The original OG. Okay, so we got Halloween, we got Scream, we got Saw, and we got Amityville / Poltergeist. That's a 1A, 1B kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then my 5th one. What am I going to go for 5? Oh, Conjuring.
Okay, that's what I was wondering if because that's
Yeah.
I think that's a heavy one too, but I think it's a good opener.
The thing with the Conjuring that'll help is that if they like the Conjuring, that lets me know that I can go The Exorcist, Hereditary, Midsummer, and down that road. Evil Dead, some of those like really heavy horror films that can weigh on you and can disturb you and keep you up at night. I'm sorry, maybe it's just me that I'm desensitized, but Halloween didn't keep me up the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
It doesn't scare me. It's a guy going after babysitters. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a serial killer. We have serial killers in real life. That's not that scary.
But some people find that scarier.
Some people do, exactly,
because it is real.
and so that's where you kind of put the feelers out there to see maybe where it's at. You know what? I'll take Scream off the list. Take Scream back off the list, because if they like Halloween, then you go down there. It's kind of like the 5 different branches of horror films.
Yeah.
See which one they that one's tasty. I really like that. I really liked that one. Okay, let's go down that branch.
Yeah.
You know, something creature feature.
I don't want to like sway you, but you got creature stuff, you got classic horror, you've got zombies you haven't touched.
Zombies isn't horror.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah. Just some thoughts. You looking at my collection?
I am looking at your collection. I mean, if there's a better place to go,
Yeah.
I don't know of it.
Yeah, I mean, you have the classic stuff. You've got stuff like Christine, Carrie, The Shining. You got like that whole realm of like.
See, the problem with those ones is with them being like that. Okay, let's say they like The Shining. What are you going to go to next?
Midsummer probably is that's your. But it's
the same as Amityville and Poltergeist. Oh, you like the possession stuff and everything like that? Great. Exorcist, Midsummer, that's that branch already covered.
Yeah.
So, and I feel like those two are better starts than The Shining. The Shining can be heavy because that's just your spouse going fucking nuts.
Yeah.
That's just your buddy going
Don't
fucking
mind if
nuts.
I do.
Don't mind if I do. Yeah, exactly. What zombie movie though? Night of the Living Dead? Some people might not take to that as well. And I can't think of a single fucking Beastie movie all of a sudden. We don't have many.
We don't have enough.
That's for sure.
We don't have enough.
No, you know what? That's what it is. American Werewolf in London.
I mean, I was about to say that's the
one.
The werewolf movie. I mean,
that's
to
the
me,
werewolf movie.
To
but
me,
also,
that and The Howling are like the two that stand at the top of the mountain.
And then there's a big
there's a
gap.
huge gap for everything, but there's just not enough.
No.
Like for all the Dracula, Frankenstein movies
We're
got,
getting one, aren't we?
I hope so.
Didn't you send me a trailer of one and I refused to watch it?
Maybe.
Thought you did.
I don't know. I can't keep track of what I send to you.
You send a lot of debauchery to me.
Yes.
So my 5 recapping would be Halloween, Poltergeist or Amityville Horror, American Werewolf in London. Shit, I forgot them. Should have wrote them down. God damn it, Ted.
You said
Conjuring.
Conjuring, yeah.
Conjuring.
I'm trying to cycle through what you said.
Because that's opening up. Conjuring and Poltergeist and Amityville Horror are pretty similar, but that's a light hitter one versus a heavy hitter one. So if they like the light hitter one more than the heavy hitter one, okay, well, let's take them down that road.
Yeah.
But if they like the heavy hitter ones, that's where you open up Midsummer and The Exorcist and stuff like that. Maybe keep them on the light path and then see how they do with The Exorcist, and maybe we can
Bone Tomahawk, just throw them
branch
right
them
in.
Oh, God.
The deepest of deep ends.
Oh.
It's like me. I'm like The Exorcist, Hereditary, Bone Tomahawk.
Well, you already said like you messed up showing us some. Me and Hayden.
I don't know about messed up. I would just think if it's not even like it's a bad thing, but it's just hard to follow that up. 'Cause
It
it's
is.
like, I mean, for me,
And
once you
that's
go
one of
past The Exorcist, there's nothing
Oh.
else.
You know what? I didn't do a gore one. I don't know what originally
I think
said.
zombies is where a lot of times you get a lot of gore.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hellraiser, Halloween, Conjuring,
Movies that Hayden would call yucky.
that he would call yucky, American Werewolf in London, and I'm taking Amityville Horror and Poltergeist off. If they say Conjuring's too scary, then we can go, well, here, try this. This is not as bad,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So a fifth one. What branches of horror am I not getting? That's the thing.
Classic, Dracula.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like Doll. You got Chucky or Dead Silence type stuff. You got It.
I haven't done clowns.
Clowns, yeah.
There's a few different clown ones that are good.
Yeah, Terrifier.
Halloween, Conjuring, Werewolf in London,
Well,
and
Michael does dress like a clown at the beginning, though. So
that's true. Halloween, Conjuring, Werewolf in London, and shit. What was my fourth one? Creature, possession, slasher. Fuck, Tad. I can't remember. You're supposed to help me out here, man.
I'm not writing stuff down. You should.
I know. I started. Oh, Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Those are my four. I'm writing them down this time so I don't forget. So I need a fifth one that's a little bit different than that one. There's a 70s horror. Oh, duh. Jaws.
Not a horror. Not a horror.
We're going to have that debate now.
It's not a horror. If it is, then Jurassic Park is. That's all I'm
horror.
saying.
No, it's the tone of the movie.
They have the same tone.
No, they
the
don't.
only difference is John Williams' score. That's the only difference between the two movies.
Which is part of the movie. So,
no, if Jaws is, Jurassic Park is. In 70s, you've got Amityville Horror. You've got Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You've got
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
What's that?
That's a classic one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, Debaucherous.
Yeah, let's do Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
They like that. You can go down the what is the
Evil Dead.
No, what was the one with Hills Have Eyes?
Yeah, Hills Have Eyes. Well, no, those are on the same branch.
No,
Hills
that's
Have
what I'm saying.
Eyes.
If they like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's like, oh,
Hills
hey,
Have Eyes.
the Hills Have Eyes remake too.
Evil Dead is on there for debauchery and
Yeah.
a little bit of possession and everything like that. So yeah, the five I would do: Halloween, The Conjuring, American Werewolf in London, Hellraiser, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. This kind of goes along the same idea. What's your favorite horror subgenre?
I mean, I fucking love zombies.
Okay.
I adore everything there is about zombies. My favorite video game currently, and has been for the past about 5 years, has been a zombie survival
So zombies
crafting
is
game.
your
I love zombies. 1A to that, like just a smidge underneath it, is because. Well, no, you know what? I'm going to put zombies at 1A because there is not very many quality zombie movies.
no.
There's a few,
There's
but
still some more you could hit though.
there's a few, but there's not many. I got to go with slashers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halloween, Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street we discussed already, Friday the 13th, even other stuff that's not exactly the classic slasher.
You've probably got that from me because
absolutely.
I adore slashers. Most people though, even horror fans, can turn their nose up at slashers a bit and kind of look down on them.
No,
a bit.
I love them. They're the bread and butter. I think they're the bread and the meat in the meat and potatoes of horror films.
Yeah.
You can dress it up all you want around with the sides and everything like that. But when you get back down to it, I mean, Psycho was a slasher.
Yeah.
Psychological slasher, but still a slasher.
Yeah.
And so when you get down to it, Halloween, Friday, the ones I already named, but then you get into other ones that kind of like break the mold a little bit. They're still slashers. They're still
Chucky's
great.
a slasher.
Chucky's a slasher. Hills Have Eyes is a little bit of a slasher. It's got more blood and guts. Evil Dead, possession slasher. Like,
Yeah.
they all have elements of slashers in them. So
Yeah. This is gonna be it might be an easy one with not many other answers that I think you might have. Is there a horror saga or maybe even a subgenre that you think is criminally underutilized?
zombies. We just talked about it.
Werewolves is
number one.
a big one.
Zombies is number 2.
Like for instance,
flip your question on the head. Vampires needs to be done.
For instance, it's not a horror, but like for instance, I've been saying for years that Predator is like heavily underutilized.
Oh yeah,
like it should have at least as many sequels as Aliens, if not more, because I think Predator's an incredible fucking.
We talked
about
Predator being a period piece, going back after Predator 2. When we first became friends, this is 20-something years ago, we talked about this.
Yeah.
And then Prey came out, and oh my God, everyone loves it, right?
Yeah. But is there any horror one like that where you're just like, God damn it, they need more of these?
I mean, Werewolf is like number 1.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
How the hell is like the monster? Like you have the 4 monsters: mummies, Frankenstein, werewolves, and vampires.
Yeah.
How is Werewolf the only one that has the fewest fucking movies made in the last 20 years?
Yeah.
We've had more mummy movies made in the last 20 years than werewolves. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Sorry. Good movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, there is quality elements as well. So now we're going to get into some interesting questions here.
These all weren't interesting before?
I
thought they were great.
By interesting, I mean hard.
Oh, shit.
What is your favorite on-screen kill in horror movies?
Jesus Christ, Tad. Give me your top 10 movies of all time. Give me your top movie of all time. Fuck, dude, how can you do this to me?
You gotta have something that sticks in your mind. It's just like, whether it be like because it's like the yeah fuck yeah moment, or whether it's like the special effects and the gore, or I mean there's any number, especially if you're since you said you're in the slasher realm like me.
I instantly have 3 in my head.
Okay.
All from Halloween. Okay. Every single one of them is from Halloween.
Okay, outside of the Dad and Halloween 6, what else?
That's one. You know me so well, sir. It's almost like you've known me for 20-something fucking years.
Oh, man.
The nurse at the beginning of Halloween 6.
The nurse.
Spike.
Oh, that 6.
She's a nurse.
Yeah.
She's a nurse at the beginning.
Yeah.
Hello? Just picks her up by the face and puts her head into a spike.
Jamie came to mind. In that like the farmhouse. That was what came to mind. That
one's great. Don't get me wrong. That one's great.
That's why Nurse was tripping me up. But then you have the original nurse from the first movie as an H2O's beginning. So I was like,
is he mixing up movies?
Yeah, I'm like, is he mixing up movies? I'm like,
no, she's like the nurse that comes against Jamie.
It's the wall spike.
Yeah, the wall spike. But do you know the reason why I put that one on my list?
Why?
He does the head tilt.
Yeah. It's a good one.
And I'm not going to lie, the very first head tilt in Halloween has to be on my list. Paul.
Yeah.
Stabs him and then
hangs him up and then just head tilt.
Yep. I fucking love the head tilt, dude. It's one of my favorites from Michael Myers' mannerisms and stuff like that. I still creep my wife out doing it. She'll look over at me and she's like, don't do the head tilt to me. She's like, don't you do that. So that one sticks. Those 3 stick in my brain when it comes to kills. Yeah. But dude, there's so many that I love.
I mean, certainly. That's why I said I knew it'd be a tough question because it's just like
it should be which the first ones that come to your brain, not my favorite. Because my favorite, I'd actually have to have a debate about that. Because Scream has some good kills. Friday the 13th has some good kills. Zombies has some good kills. You know, there's nothing like seeing a dude just rip. I mean, open. Saw has amazing kills. We haven't even talked about that. Yeah. Fuck.
Ooh, I know you did last summer. Got some good kills in there.
I gotta be honest, Ted. I don't remember that movie.
You should get on that.
I need to watch it again. It's on Hulu, by the way.
Yeah.
Looking at my wife's horror fest.
Could watch that with your wife.
Could
be a good one.
Could. We watched Midsummer. Oh, I forgot to say, I watched Midsummer with Lydia.
Oh, and you also I know you're a Sarah Michelle Gellar fan.
I love Sarah Michelle Gellar.
So
she's my slayer.
Seeing her get offed there is always a wonderful time.
When she's a little bit of a ditz, right?
I mean, in the realm of slashers, not really. There's a lot
worse than that.
There's a lot.
I do. Okay, a random kill just popped into my head from Freddy versus Jason. The 2 guys are like stoned, and he shows up to like the corner. He just grabs it, turns it around.
It's one of the best, dude. It's so good.
I said the stoner guys in Freddy versus Jason. You knew exactly what I was talking about.
Once you said Freddy versus Jason,
you knew what I was talking
about. The first kill that comes
there.
When he turns the head around, dude. It's amazing.
That's a game we should play.
Jason X when he dips the chick's face in the
carbonite. Liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen and shatters her head. That's great.
That's what I'm going to do for you next time we talk about horror movies. I'm going to come up with a. I'm going to do a. What's word association?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to name a movie, and you're just going to tell me the first kill that pops into your fucking head.
Yeah.
We're going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this may be close-ish, but what's an image in horror that still sticks with you?
Oh, dude,
enters
it's on
your-
your fucking shirt.
Oh yeah, Captain Howdy.
Captain Howdy fucking haunts me, dude.
Yeah.
I play it off like and everything like that, but I don't think you remember and understand just how much that movie affected me.
I mean, dude, I thought about a question of like, what's the last movie that really scared you? And I was like, well, how would that apply to me? Because I'm like, I mean,
It doesn't work for you.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't really work for me. But probably the last time that one really got to me was probably within the last 10 years. Was probably watching The Exorcist in this house, home alone, middle of the night, turned every light in the fucking house off, and threw The Exorcist on.
I can't watch certain movies with the lights off, and that's the number one.
Yeah,
I can't watch The Exorcist with the lights off. I can't do it. I can't do it.
the subliminal stuff.
I also can't do it with the curtain open. That's one of those ones that I can't. I see
So,
shit out of the corner of my eye in my head, and it fucks with me.
in high school, we had my family had a cabin up in Kolob Terrace up near in southern Utah near Cedar City, and that is renowned in Utah as one of the best places for stargazing because the darkness there is just so.
It's the light pollution is the lowest. Is what they call it. Light pollution.
Yeah, because it's so far above, and Cedar City is a smaller city anyway, but it's so far up there that it's renowned. Like when we'd see people that were just up there for random reasons, chances are they were probably stargazers.
Yeah.
So the darkness up there is just something it's hard to even put words to.
Yep.
And the cabin was an A-frame cabin.
Yep.
The whole front wall was windows,
Glass. Just
and
glass.
glass. The lower ones, of course, had blinds, but when you were up in that bed in the loft, you looked out, pure darkness.
Just darkness.
Just 3 windows, just pure. And like when you're outside, you can put your hand up like this, you can't see it. It's
Nope.
it's pure black.
Nope.
So when you talk about the open curtain, I'm like, dude. So if I would have ever got you there, I would have made sure you stayed in the loft so you could look out into the darkness.
I will say I have experienced darkness like that on one time in my life, and that's on a cruise ship.
It's unreal. Like
Dude, you get out on the ocean and you just see just nothing.
unless you're like someone from a rural area, because I'm wondering if you get the same kind of darkness there because you're so far removed
my
from
wife
places.
does. Yeah, my
But,
wife.
like-
My wife did.
but
She
for
grew up in a
most of
town
us-
of 5,000 people. She knows.
Most of us we're in cities. Like there is not that kind of darkness in your general life. And yeah, it's I almost say like it's oppressive darkness.
It
Like,
is.
it feels like it weighs on you.
the,
It's so
the
dark.
worst part about us for our cruise that we went on a couple of years ago with my in-laws is that we went when there was no moon. Not even a moon. Dude, it was so fucking dark. It
Oh.
actually unnerved me. And you know me, I can get scared and stuff
No,
like
I
that.
saw you at the haunted house and
There-
that beast.
That
through
was
the
like
wall.
the one time that really I was like, nope, fuck this. But oppressive darkness like that, I don't think there's a human being that just can look at that for a long period of time and not go, ugh.
Because you just wonder what's looking at you.
Exactly.
And you know whatever's out there can see in the dark.
Because the problem is as much as you try to pretend to be like nothing scares me and stuff like that.
No.
When you're staring at the dark,
No.
I'm not saying you.
I
I'm
was
not
gonna
saying you. In general, a person
Yeah.
can be like, "Oh, nothing scares me," but when you get alone with the dark and your imagination, guess what your imagination knows? What you're scared of.
Oh yeah,
It will fuck you up.
And that's things I want to make it clear. Like horror movies don't get me because I could see the Matrix, I
Yes.
see the code. But real life, there's often
there's
that,
things that creep Tad out
Yeah.
in real life,
There are things that go bump in the night for sure.
like putting mustard on a corn dog.
Or mustard on anything. Mustard's the worst.
Root beer.
Yeah, it's pretty bad too. More lighthearted. What's your favorite horror comedy?
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah,
Easy.
I knew that'd be a quick one to your mind.
Shaun of the Dead is so fucking funny.
but, like-
It's zombies. I love zombies.
Like the original Evil Dead's Army of Darkness. Like
Army of Darkness is one that I
Tucker
watched
and
as
Dale
a kid.
versus Evil.
Never seen that.
Really?
No,
Dude,
you never showed it to me.
you have got to get on that.
What are you talking about? It's not my fault. You're the guy who shows me horror films. Like, what are you doing?
That came out when we were friends. Once
Yeah.
once
So
we're
what are you
friends-
doing?
Once you're friends, it's on you. You can see a movie and go, "That looks good. I'm going to go see that."
No, Ted. I don't go to movies and say, "Oh, that looks good. I go see that." I go see movies with you.
Oh man, I'm trying to think of what other. But I mean, I know Shaun of the Dead. Is
Shaun of the
certainly
Dead is a special place in
big
my
one.
heart. We loved Hot Fuzz too.
Yeah,
as well.
Unfortunately, that one's not horror.
It's not horror, but I that trilogy. You
Cabin
love
in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods. I need to rewatch. My wife fucking hated it. I liked it.
Yeah,
we are determined that we're going to rewatch it now that her horror taste has grown as well as her comedy taste has evolved. So we're going to rewatch that and see if she digs it anymore.
Okay.
I liked it though, but Shaun of the Dead is just. It's so fucking funny. Have a pint at the Winchester. Wait for this all blown over.
Yeah. Oh, I did take that question down. What is the last movie that got to you?
Hereditary.
That you watched? Oh yeah.
I still do that sometimes. I'll pop into the cameras we have in our house. My wife's just sitting there, just watching something, and my daughter's sitting there, and I'll just go, and they're like, "Ew, fuck you!" And they're like, "Oh, they're so pissed at me every time I do it." That movie was unnerving.
That's what I've been saying about The Monkey with Stephen King. When you have a horror that you can add something in the movie that the characters know is their doom, whether it's the fucking movie coming on for The Ring, or was it The Ring?
Yes, The Ring.
Okay, The Ring, or whether it's the like you just said, like the clucking of the tongue. Like there's just certain things when you can add that in. And that symbol monkey, it's fucking built in. How is
right
that
there.
not a movie that was made in the 80s, been remade in the 2000s, and is looking at another reboot right now? It should be
ready.
that.
It's ready.
It's a fucking no-brainer,
It's so
dude.
ready.
It's such a no-brainer.
And I'm going to hate every minute of it. For those of you that don't know, The Monkey is a short story by Stephen King that is a symbol monkey that no matter what they do to it, they can't get rid of it. And every time it
Symbols
symbols
clang.
clap,
Yeah.
clash, whatever you want to call it,
People die.
People die. People they know die.
Yeah.
He tries.
I mean,
to
everyone
throw
knows it from Toy Story 3,
Yeah,
but
they
it's the
know
same. It's the same.
It's that monkey.
That monkey, yeah.
The guard monkey that's watching the cameras, but it's classically called what's the real term for it?
Jolly Chimp.
Jolly Chimp.
Yeah.
Is an official title of that toy.
In fact.
I will walk the fuck out.
Oh, I love it. So I introduced you. I think we already kind of touched on this, but I introduced you to horror. I admit I didn't really strategize as well with you or Hayden. You were my first guinea pig. If you can go back into early 2000s and tell Tad at that time something to impact your baptism into horror, what would it be?
Make sure to watch. What was it? American Werewolf in London with him the first time.
Oh yeah.
Watch the
Okay.
creature. Watch the creature films with him.
Because we were doing the podcast, or no, maybe not.
It was before.
It was before when I did, because it was Creep Show though. It was ultimately Stephen King that made me realize it. But that's it. There's no other like maybe
That's-
popping The Exorcist too early or anything that.
No, I think The Exorcist was done at the right time. I was ready for it and everything. But the keep the creature features for you. Watch them with him. Watch
Okay.
every creature feature that you can. Beasties especially.
Yeah.
Monkeys. Not monkeys, apes.
Yeah.
Chimpanzees, gorillas.
Ace Ventura's monkey in the horror movie.
Nah.
Just that little tiny monkey attacking people and ripping their faces off. That'd be a fun movie though.
Little monkeys don't do it. It really is like the apes. Orangutans.
I don't know. Outbreak. With that monkey.
Orangutans doesn't do it for me. That's because of Jungle Book. King Louis cool. He's a cool cat.
He wants more cowbell. Last I heard.
That's true. But chimpanzees and gorillas because of Congo and other shit.
Yeah.
And baboons.
Yeah.
Don't trust a baboon.
Good old Mike Flanagan. So 3 horror movies that you'd want to go back and see for the first time.
In theaters or just first time?
In general. Wipe your memory. You could see it for the
Exorcist,
first time.
Halloween and I Saw. The twist in Saw is so fucking good.
Yeah.
The twist in that is just one of the best in Hollywood ever
Yeah.
done. It was never spoiled for me.
It breaks my heart.
It broke me for a week after I watched it.
Yeah.
I'd love to experience that again. The Exorcist, for the reasons I've given before, that it creeped me out. It still creeps me out.
Yeah.
I'd love to re-experience it for the first time and go through that 20 years of suffering again. And Halloween, just because, dude, how fucking cool would it be to hear that music again for the first time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Such a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's in my top 10 soundtracks of all time.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that is most of my questions. That puts us about where I wanted to be for time anyway. So let's jump over to The Exorcist and The Exorcist the Believer.
All right.
Just quickly, we saw it about 9 days ago. The Believer, but we also, if we wanted to touch on anything, The Exorcist, we've already kind of delved a little bit. Where both of us,
yeah.
That's the last movie that really got to me. It's been a while, but that movie can get to me. It
still gets to me. I rewatched it with my wife the first time she watched it. Unnerves me.
Yeah,
every time.
And I've watched a number of reaction videos too, and I'm always just wondering, oh man, is this younger person, are they going to get it, or is this just going to be too dated? And dude, they're flipped the fuck out. Even just
you told me and everyone when we left The Exorcist that there was one movie that you've watched every single reaction video on the internet for. Is it The Exorcist?
The Exorcist and Airplane.
Those are the two.
Yep.
I knew there was one horror movie is what I was thinking.
I do need to go through YouTube pretty soon and see if any more Exorcist ones have popped up, because they almost always get done in October. So I need to go through and because it's The Exorcist and Airplane, dude. Those just
so funny.
Fucking kill me, man. For two different reasons. I laugh for both, but for different reasons. But So The Exorcist Believer. What did you think? We haven't really done this where we're not covering a full episode, but I think we gotta.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, we got to get an idea of just hitting something on a quicker way.
It was pretty good. There were some things there that we talked about it when we left the theaters. There were some things there that I didn't care for it. I know there was a big one that we disagreed on, me and you, with the outcome. I don't know how spoiler do you want me to be?
I think we're gonna hit spoilers on it. With this one, I'm not really concerned. It's been out a while now. It did decent-ish, but it didn't break the bank.
We saw it 9 days ago, but it came out the week before that.
Yeah.
So it's been
out a while.
Okay, that's what I was worried about, is that it came out last week, so not many people may have seen it, listening to it. But if you have seen The Exorcist Believer, maybe skip ahead until
aren't gonna see it at all.
Yeah, because after this, we're going to talk about the
Usher.
Follow the House of Usher. So if you haven't seen either one of those,
it's probably the end of the episode.
Pull the pin for you here.
Yeah.
I still feel like the dad didn't get a clear-cut resolution to his character arc. I feel like it was subtle and underwhelming for me.
I did see a thing with David Gordon Green where he was doing an interview, and he revealed that the original cut of the movie and the original script, both girls were fine.
Oh, really?
And it was a idea as they were going where they're like, maybe this shouldn't be as clean of an ending.
Really?
So that's interesting, especially to have the balls as a filmmaker to change it up that much.
Usually you hear it the other way, that they had this controversial ending and then they're like, no.
Yeah.
Give me a happy ending.
Yeah. So I read that. That was really intriguing to me. It does sound like they still want to do more movies. They're just not sure with the financial success where it is with the first one, if they're going to have to reevaluate their strategy. But I think they still want to do it. They've invested a lot of money to get The Exorcist rights. So,
got to spend money to make money, right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. I honestly didn't hate it. I was kind of worried because the reviews are pretty bad. So I was kind of worried that it may not be great. Now, here's the thing: is I can go in 100% and look at it and go, you know what? This is never going to be as good as the original. Because honestly, even in my head, when you make the perfect movie in your head, I don't think I can make a movie in my head that comes anywhere near the original of The Exorcist.
No,
it was at a time and place. It was the one that started this whole genre. I mean, the possession thing is almost, I wouldn't say cliche, but it's been done plenty of times now, and all of them owe their existence and DNA to The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Like now, yes, there's other stories that maybe have even pre-existed The Exorcist that the movies are based on, but it's kind of like Lord of the Rings. I remember arguing with people about Lord of the Rings. There's some times where it's like, oh yeah, that's a super Star Wars reference there. Like it alludes to Star Wars. Oh, well, Lord of the Rings came out first. It's like, yeah, but Peter Jackson's movie came out after, and these shots are fucking reminiscent of Star Wars. Like,
we're talking movie here, not the books.
Yeah, and I think it's that way. So even if there's stories that pre-exist The Exorcist, the movies didn't, and there's a lot of, almost every movie I've ever seen that's been possession in some way, it seems like they owe some element to The Exorcist in their DNA, which is not a bad thing.
I just looked it up just to see what it's at, and currently on Rotten Tomatoes, The Exorcist Believers is sitting at, is it Believers or Believer?
Believer, I thought. I don't know. Maybe it's Believers.
You can't really see it on the poster that's listed here. It's 22% on the tomato meter, but the audience score is 59%.
Okay, which is a little below average. Usually horror movies are average in the 60s for audience. But then again, I always say when you look at numbers like that, add, like, if it's 60s, add 10 to it for a horror movie. Because horror just gets shit on by certain people. So if it's a 10, if it's a scale of 10, add one number. If it's a scale of 100, add 10 to everything.
Yeah.
Someone's like, oh, it's a 5 out of 10. Cool, it's a 6 out of 10. Oh, it's a 6 out of 10. Okay, it's a 10. It's a 7 out of 10. That's just how I view horror, and I've always found it to be right, because there's always just people that just hate fucking horror that for some reason walk into a horror movie to do a review on it. So,
yeah,
that seems about right. But I thought they did a good job, though. I thought it had a lot of wonderful references to the original movie. Bringing the mom back, Chris McNeil, first time she's ever done an Exorcist movie since 1973. Of course, Linda Blair has done a number of sequels, but they have never brought, and they even the young priest was brought back in one. Like, I can't remember if it was a prequel. I don't know. Well, either way, a lot of people from the original have popped back up in different things.
Yeah.
But
Chris
has never been one. So
yeah.
It was really cool to see her bring back. They treated her quite brutally, way worse than I thought they would.
She didn't get like the you're an alumni treatment at all.
No, she didn't get the red carpet.
No.
She was treated as a character should be treated in a horror movie. I thought they did a good job of that. I think they did a good job, too, of kind of replicating the slow burn of the original.
Yes.
Nowadays, everything's just so fast, so ADHD, TikTok, whatever you want to call it, that I was concerned that going in it was just going to be the exact opposite of what the original movie was. And I was really walked out surprised. And even midway through, I was like, oh, my God, they're actually kind of doing slow burn. Like, holy shit. In 2023, someone has the balls to do a slow burn movie.
I did love a lot of callbacks to it with Reagan, and how Reagan and Chris are estranged.
Yeah,
thank you. From each other. But you see Reagan like carved into one of theirs.
Yeah.
Under the window. They don't see it, but we see it, and everything like that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of little callbacks and stuff like that. Also, I will say the twist at the end with the demon being like, okay, you got to choose one.
Yeah.
And then the dad chose, and then the demon turned it on its head. Dude, I was telling you guys outside of the theater, that is straight up fucking biblical.
Oh, yeah.
That is straight from that is classic demon shit.
That's monkey paw stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get
monkey paw. That's a great way of putting it. That's
it's
perfect.
It's totally monkey paw, man.
Yeah, absolutely what you would expect from a demon. Like, we just watched The Fall of the House of Usher, and me and Lydia were both commenting that there is such a fucking Crossroads demon element of that.
Yeah.
And I know you've never watched Supernatural, but they play it. You know what a Crossroads demon is, right?
Not like I just know the classic story of the guitar player on the Crossroads. Yeah. Like,
so there's other iterations of that, and Supernatural plays into it. That is just a demon that at a crossroads you put a little box down and cover it that has certain things inside of it, summons the Crossroads demon, and then you make a deal with them, and then you're given like X amount of years to live with the thing that they give you. The classic one being the guitar player is able to be a world-class jazz guitarist and everything. And so got a very big feeling of that, but that is just classic thing for the demon to fuck with you.
Yeah.
And everything. And that's what the demon did in this movie. I do realize now, you sent us the picture of what the demon looked like from this. Where the fuck was that?
It was like maybe 3 to 5 frames flashed throughout the movie.
I feel like
there's a couple times I saw element, but it's so quick. Like, you're gonna have to get a Blu-ray and like freeze frame, and it's literally like, and it's just there's a couple times, but it's. I wish they would have just done more like Captain Howdy. And the thing is Captain Howdy wasn't even done that way in the original. It wasn't until the version you've never seen that they added a lot of the Captain Howdy stuff.
Oh, really?
In. Yeah, there's a few Captain Howdys in the original theatrical cut, but nowhere near as many as you get in
the big one for Captain Howdy that gets me is there's a flash where someone's like closing their eyes and they see Captain Howdy and he like
it's the dream. It's the kid's dream. The young priest. when he's dreaming of his mom going to hell because she's going down the thing.
subway,
and then you see the cross falling, and then that's there. I'm pretty sure in the original. It's been a long time
That's
since
what
I've
was
seen the
missing
original.
from this one is that where's my demon?
It needs to be a little bit, because they went really, really obscure with it. It was like I said, and I'm not even like exaggerating. I really think it was probably like 5 frames of the movie. And that's
just too little.
Like if you put all of those together, that's like a second of screen time.
That's too little.
So it was just very subliminal. It was.
I see. You sent us the picture of what they're like. Hey, you're like, hey, this is the demon from the Exorcist Believer. We're just like, oh my god. It was horrible to look at, and why isn't that in there?
Yeah, and I don't think you saw the full thing. I think that every time I caught it, it was like the face for the most part.
Yeah, why?
So
why make that then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Give me that. We needed that. If that had that would have bumped it up like a full nother level for me.
I'm hoping for a director's cut. Is my hope that there will be a director's cut on a home video release. But
And it has the demon.
Overall, I enjoyed the movie more than I thought I would. Even before the reviews came out, there was just part of me that was guarded where I'm just like, horror sequels, like, we'll see. And also you're tugging on Superman's cape by the fact that you got the name Exorcist in your movie.
You got big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah, you've got the biggest in my opinion. Like there's a lot of great horror, but in terms of truly fucking evil horror movies, like I don't know if you get further than The Exorcist in my view.
It had one of those moments where the trailer made something look scary and then it wasn't scary at all in the movie. Their hearts are beating in sync. That never happens, right? Oh, it looks so terrifying in the
when it's
the
all
trailer.
chopped up for the trailer.
But then when they did it in the real life in the actual film, it's just like, oh, hey, look, their hearts are beating in sync. Da, da, da,
Yeah.
da. God damn it!
Apparently, David Gordon Green also said that there's a couple shots in the trailer that were from the non-altered cut of the movie,
Which is why it seemed so scary.
Well, the
trailer was fucking terrifying.
Well, I'm just saying it had stuff from the different version of
I
the
know.
ending. So,
I understand.
so you're saying that's how late in the game that they decided to like change it up? Is like the first. I think he said the first trailer had some elements of the.
You need to go back and rewatch it then.
I know, but I mean, I'll buy it for sure. I'll buy it, and
I might throw it on if I've ever watched. I mean, obviously, I'm going to watch The Exorcist again. It's one of those ones that I have to build up for. It's like Schindler's List.
Yeah.
I got to prep myself for it, you know. I get into these World War II kicks, and I'm like, okay, time to culminate it and cap it off with Schindler's List, and then I'm done for a while.
Yeah.
Exorcist is the same way. I get on horror kicks and stuff like that. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
Let's put on The Exorcist, and then I'm done for a while. Let's go watch some comedies after this. Where's my Airplane and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and Monty Python and the Holy Grail and shit like that.
Yeah.
So
Or Toy Story 3.
Not a comedy. Not a comedy. That's a horror movie.
Just because it has the Jolly Chimp in it.
I was thinking about the ending, but okay.
No, you've of course seen those videos where people edit it to where it looks like that's the end.
The end.
I love those. There's not enough of them, but
No.
I did appreciate them.
Yeah.
That can't be the ending. Although I've never seen anyone show it to a child. And that's what I really want to see.
Yeah, because that's horrible. You're a monster.
No.
Yes.
No, that's what you got to do. I mean, showing it to old ladies and stuff. Are like, oh my god, this can't be it. That's funny, but show it to like a freaking 8-year-old.
You're a monster.
That'd be incredible.
You're a monster.
All right, so the Fall of the House of Usher. We've already kind of given a spoiler. We got about we got a little bit of time left. So I do think that at some point we're gonna have a full episode on this. Just dive in because I want to rewatch it again at some point. Probably not this year, certainly, because we don't have much of this year left. But I do think
also it's coming up on time for you to watch Haunting of Hill House.
It is indeed getting close to that.
This probably just made you want it even more.
I do think I might try to squeeze in Bly Manor or Midnight Mass between now and Thanksgiving.
There you go.
Before getting to Hill House.
There you go.
I haven't seen Bly Manor or Midnight Mass more than once.
I've never seen Bly Manor. I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, you should.
My wife still hasn't watched Haunting of Hill House. She's watched Midnight Mass, though.
Ooh. You should get that spooky season going and watch some Hill House.
I should record her watching it. Without her knowing.
Oh, man. I mean, you have cameras.
I do.
So, The Fall of the House of Usher. Newest Mike Flanagan work. The final Mike Flanagan work for Netflix.
Yep.
Eight parts, adapting Edgar Allan Poe in various ways. What do you think? What are your thoughts? You just finished it very recently. I finished it
finished
the
it-
weekend it came
I
out.
finished it Friday.
What, it came out last week, so I finished it last week.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit further for me, but what do you think?
Amazing. It was so good.
It was,
I'm upset that I wasn't able to binge it.
yeah,
Like
which
so
is
I was-
funny because I'm kind of upset that I was able to stretch it longer.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, like, could have lasted longer if you would have just like done
Yep.
an episode a day or something, but I'm like, nah, I couldn't do that.
I did episode on Sunday morning. I watched episodes 1 and 2. And then I was partway through 3 when my family woke up, and I knew instantly that I wanted my wife to watch this after the second episode and what happened at the end
Yeah.
with the rain.
One of the most heinous things I've
That
ever
is
seen
so
on screen,
fucking
man.
brutal.
That is one of the most fucking
Dude,
heinous things I've
like-
ever. Yeah.
Are we talking spoilers or no?
Yeah. I mean, we've already kind of warned people.
Okay.
We're gonna go deeper into it in the future for sure. Because we need to go long form on this.
I need to
but-
ask you a question on it that brewed in my mind from the third episode on after Camille after Camille's death.
Yeah.
That I started paying attention, and it's 100% true. The kids didn't just die; they were tortured. Look at every single one of those 6 deaths. Every single one of them, not necessarily right away, but like right before their death. Like look at the Froderick. Look at his death, and you're like, oh yeah, of course he was tortured. The thing was swinging and everything. Like, no. That's not what I'm talking about. Look what happened the day or so before that death. Look what he went through with his wife and everything like that, and the psychological torture that he put himself through. Every single one of those kids went through something like that.
Yeah.
And that is worse than any of their deaths. Except maybe Perry's.
Yeah, that one.
I think Perry's the only one that didn't really have like the full psychological on him.
He's too stupid to figure it out anyway.
But his was that 5 to 10 seconds before he experienced the pain himself of realizing that he's responsible for the death of every single person in that room.
Yeah.
Every single person in that room is going to die because of him, except obviously his sister-in-law, who survived.
Yeah.
And is one of the only people who survived the entire show.
And then gets tortured herself.
And then gets tortured by her husband, but she still survives that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And everything. But look at Camille. Like, the psychological that she's going through with, like, her aides quitting on her. And so she has to go to the place by herself. And then everything that happens inside there, she's tortured.
Yeah. That's also her male aide is the one that I project as Eddie Dean.
Is it really?
That's
who he is?
Igby Rigney or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, that's him.
Okay.
So next time you watch it, just keep an
Okay.
eye on him. Because I looked him up in the first episode. I'm like, okay, I know he's in this show, but who is he?
Where is he?
And they gave it Toby, I think is his name.
Yeah.
So the whole time I'm just like, just hyper focused. I'm like, Toby,
Yeah.
Toby, tell me Toby. And then when she finds, hey Toby, I'm like, there he is. Because
Yep.
I mean, he was in Midnight Mass as well. He was the younger brother of the main guy.
Yeah.
So he's not a big part.
The
He's-
survivor, right?
He's
That's the love interest, right?
the main guy.
The main guy's younger brother's the love interest of the paralyzed girl, isn't he?
I don't remember.
I thought so. Okay.
But
Is that the
he's,
same girl?
He's young.
Is she Lenore?
He's like 14
Yeah.
or so in Midnight Mass, but now he's 20. So
Yeah.
him, that's so I kind of knew him, but that wasn't enough. So this one I'm like, okay, he's now closer to Eddie's age. Let me see what he is in this show. I still need to watch Midnight Club. That's the only Flanagan series I haven't seen. But yeah, no, that's definitely a good good thought. I don't think I really put that together.
Next
I mean,
time
I certainly noticed that.
Next
but
time you watch it,
I don't
like,
think I pieced it together that they were all.
look
it was all pretty horrific.
Well, look at Leo. Like, he started seeing things and everything like that. And my wife, I got to give my wife a shout out. Shout out to Lydia here on this one. Do every single one of the kids have the same thing that their dad has, where they're seeing things? Leo sees things. Absolutely. Easiest example is Leo. Okay. Second easiest is Camille. She's seeing a woman instead of a chimpanzee.
Well,
what is this?
Yeah, but
But then we find
Well-
out that the woman is supernatural, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, but is it rationally explained by that it's that, that kind of thing? So it's a question, kind of thing and everything. But going through those deaths, like every single one of them. I mean, look at what shit, I just spaced on her name. The second to last one.
Yeah, I can't remember
The
most
daughter.
of the names, to be honest. I'm pretty bad with that. I was talking to my barber that was cutting my hair, and she's all into it too. And she kept calling them all by the names. I'm like, God, I can't keep them fucking straight.
Madeline.
Man. Yeah.
Madeline. Oh shit, I'm on Midnight Mass, not Usher.
Tamarine.
Tamarine, that's her name.
Or
Yeah.
Tamerlane.
Tamerlane.
Yeah.
Look at the fucking psychological torture that she goes through for those few days before she dies.
Oh, yeah.
And then instantly, and then also right before her death. You know, it's not just an instant death for her. Not many of them had instant deaths, except for maybe Leo, but for fuck's sake, how long was Leo breaking into walls?
Yeah.
It was broad daylight when he started, and then it was dead of night when he was finally discovered by his boyfriend.
Yeah.
So, shit, man.
But we got Abra playing Lenore from Dr. Sleep. That was a cool.
That's what I was. Is she the same one that's in Midnight Mass?
No,
That's somewhere
Dr. Sleep
different?
is her first Flanagan thing. And then we also had the guy that played Halloran was the investigator. August Dupin.
Yeah. The younger Augie was in iZombie for my wife, who played with Raul, Leo. They played together in iZombie.
Oh, okay.
So really cool to see them reunited. My wife freaked out about that a little bit. For anyone that's watched iZombie,
what did you think of Madeline?
Madeline's the sister. That's right, dude. She's awesome.
Also, do you recognize her?
No,
Did you piece where you recognize her? Because I spent like the first 3
No.
episodes just like, who the fuck is she?
She
She's
didn't
Donnie
seem-
Darko's mom.
oh, is she really? She didn't seem familiar to
She
me
did
at all.
I'm like, who is it? And like, I never looked it up, but I finally dawned on me at one point. I'm like, oh, it's Donnie Darko's mom.
It took 3 or 4 episodes until I realized who Tamerlane was.
Oh, the Mrs. Carmody like Midnight Mass
Uh-huh.
lady.
Bev.
Yeah, I recognize her immediately. The 2 Dr. Sleep folks for sure. I mean, Kate Siegel's obvious. She's just her. Henry Thomas the same way. Bruce Greenwood.
Okay, Henry Thomas. I know Henry Thomas, but he's not who I think he is. Who is he?
He's Elliot from E.T. He's the younger
No.
dad
In
Hill
Usher.
House.
In Usher.
He's the Frederick.
Oh, is he really? Holy
Yeah.
fuck! No.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my god! What a great job to hide.
Oh, yeah.
What a phenomenal performance.
Both him and Raul, like, were so far removed from what I had seen prior with
Yeah.
them. Because I mean, Henry Thomas, like, I know he's talented, but like that was so different.
It
than,
was.
than the dad from Hill House.
Yeah.
Or the bartender in Doctor. He's just.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And then Raul in iZombie, what I know him from is with my wife. She watches iZombie, and I've caught episodes here. He's like the nerdy assistant. The main character is a zombie, and she eats brains to solve murders. So he helps her prepare the bodies, their corners.
Oh,
So he's
okay.
kind of like socially awkward, nerdy kind of guy. And then seeing him in Midnight Mass really flipped it on its head, seeing, you know, sheriff, do the right thing, everything
Yeah.
like that. And then to be like a scumbag, cheating, bisexual drug addict
Yeah.
from fucking hell,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
And then
I do got to praise him, though. Putting money into video games is a noble cause.
yeah, indeed. Mark Hamill.
Was he the best of the series? Was he the best?
He was a very small role comparative,
Yeah.
but oh my god.
Holy shit.
Not that I doubt Mark.
The scene with him at the end where he declines the offer.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Please let Mark stay in the Flanagan rotation.
I know, right?
Please let him stay, man. He did so fucking good.
Make him regular with like Henry Thomas and everything like
Yeah.
that. I would love to see what Flanagan is able to do with him. Bruce Greenwood was amazing.
Yeah. Oh, incredible.
So good.
Yeah. He's
I
incredible.
don't think any of the ushers, I should say that, and not just the kids, but the spouses or the extras. Allie was amazing, which is Vic's girlfriend with the Telltale Heart episode.
Yeah.
How how did I not see that coming? I'm so mad at myself that I didn't see that coming. It's a heart thing. Like, come on. It was painted on the wall. Kind of like her blood. But still, I am so annoyed with myself that I did not see that one coming.
See, I know a couple Poe things, but not enough. I feel like I would love to dive in and read more Poe. And then
I know a Telltale Heart.
Yeah, that one.
That
and
was
then,
like the one. Like, I should have seen that coming, dude.
Yeah.
Did you see it coming?
I kind of figured, yeah. As it went on, I probably should have caught it sooner. But as it went on, I'm like, yeah, this is, yeah.
I should have seen it from like the very first time we found out she's working on a heart thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, dude, come on.
Yeah, I wish I would have caught it sooner, but I caught it definitely before the reveal. I remember thinking, let's see.
Not until she opened the door did I catch it. I feel so fucking stupid, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, it's the heart. Oh, that's what we've been hearing. That's what she's hearing. Oh my God.
Oh man, yeah, she did great too. She was in Bly Manor.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Episode 2 with the rain.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know what was going to happen?
Oh, not exactly, but I'm like, this is gonna go fucking horribly wrong. When he pulled up and like, oh, I'll just tap into those water containers on top of the building. I'm like,
that's bad.
No, because they already were talking about chemicals and like there was all this other shit that they were.
You caught it like I did.
They were already laying the tracks. I'm like, this is not fucking
as
good.
As soon
man.
as you want to know the instant that I knew is when the water droplet fell on his phone. I'm like, that's it. That's how they're all gonna die.
Yeah, when he was outside and said something about tapping into the stuff up top, I'm like, no, this isn't good. This isn't good.
I talked to my wife about that after she watched that episode, because she got caught up on Thursday. She watched episodes 1 through 5, and then we watched 6, 7, and 8 on Friday. When she watched that episode, I was actually watching her on our Ring camera, watching her watch it. And dude, Tad, I will show you the video. She does the. I like cringe back into the couch and everything, and then she picks up her phone and starts texting me like, "Oh my God, what just happened?" Like shit like that.
Yeah.
I asked her that night. I said, "What did you think was going to happen with Perry with the sprinklers and everything?" She's like, "I thought it wasn't going to be water." She's like, "I thought it was going to be gas, and they were all going to die in like a gas chamber kind of situation."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh God." I didn't even think about that. Like all the shit that the EPA and those environmental people were talking about, it getting turned into a gas and just like kind of, transforming.
He's not showing up on the top cast. So I have to click in there. What's his name again?
Perry?
Yeah, Perry. There he is. Yeah, he wasn't shown on that first page of IMDb. I had to click into the more to get him because he did a really good job too. Looks like all he's done is the Midnight Club and the Fall of the House of Usher.
He was good.
He did a really good job. Yeah.
Did you have a favorite kid? I hated Froderick. I thought he was annoying as hell.
Probably Camille.
Camille was cool. I loved Leo.
I love Camille just as that badass, like, controls everything, controls the narrative. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Who'd
you say?
I like Leo.
Okay.
Mainly because of the video games and everything like that. I just see me being like that. Not the cheating and the
Until
drugs
the
and
cat.
everything. Oh, until the cat. My wife did not like the cat.
There's been some people already jumping on Flanagan. Apparently his history with cats is not great.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's tweeted about it. And
in Haunting of Hill House.
And he's posted and on All the Cats Die in Midnight Mass.
Oh, right.
Because in his because he has the Tumblr, and he had somebody ask like, "What do you have against cats?" And he kind of laid it out, and he's just like, he basically showed like why each of the things happen. It's like, the cats in Hill House have to show you the evil of Hill House, had nothing to do with hurting cats. Midnight Mass, that's the easiest prey that no one's gonna notice early on, right? Like they know they have a huge feral cat problem. Nobody's gonna notice if they start disappearing. Whereas once people start disappearing, they notice. And then he's like with this, he's like, and this is somewhat of a spoiler. He's like, in Poe's story, it's really a cat. He's like, in my story, you end up finding out it's all imaginary and the cat's fine.
Yeah,
because you later see the cat with the Gucci collar.
That didn't click with me.
I knew it wasn't real. Like there was something about it. I was like, this isn't the real cat. Like there's.
It didn't click with me that was the real cat at the end until my wife told me. She's like, "Oh, it's good to see that the cat survived." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, and he said that was
the
not.
Cat's dead, and he's like, "No, that." She's like, "No, that's the cat."
You see it on the street.
You see it with the
Gucci collar.
It actually did run away, and I was like,
"Yeah."
Oh,
and
shit.
And he pointed that out in his defense, where he's like, hey, Poe killed a cat. He's like, I was telling a Poe story, and I made it in a way to where it was an imaginary cat, and the real cat was fine.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's just funny. Although I will say, I don't know if I saw degloving.
I mean, you had an entire club get deskinned. That's like the worst kind of degloving.
I still don't know if that's a degloving.
It's the worst kind of degloving.
I think Flanagan's caught on to everyone calling him out on it, but the cats, though, that didn't get resolved. So
He didn't kill a cat.
I mean, you still saw some heinous shit happening to cats.
Nothing happened to a cat. It was just in Leo's head.
I know, but on screen you saw a
Yeah.
cat brutalized.
My
So
wife was not happy about that. I didn't know how to warn her without
I
giving it
wondered.
away.
I was like, I know
My
you
wife
guys have a
loves
cat,
cat,
so I'm like, I
yeah.
wonder how they reacted. What did you think of the finale? I mean, for one, the
Oh,
Raven,
so good.
like the most famous Poe story,
Yeah.
right? So to have that looped in, and
Dude, tell me you got Midnight Mass flashbacks when she's standing up there on the rubble and her eyes are glowing.
oh, and dude, how many of those like standalone images were fucking creepy as fuck, or some
So bad.
You know, like there's a few times with Augie was sitting in the worn out house in the background.
Just the background, you see things moving. What the fuck was that all
Yeah,
about?
I love it because it's like the It thing. You don't focus on it. You don't like cut to it. But Hill House did that a lot.
They specifically
Like-
called it out too, because he's like, "This is where you're trying to get my attention, and like you're establishing power by making me draw my focus back, and I'm not going to give it to you." And then you just see the Perry just walks off screen. It's
yeah.
like, oh,
But Hill House did that because I think it was the second or third time I watched Hill House that I noticed that like there's a few times you see ghosts in the all throughout, but especially in that mortuary
yeah,
scene. There's times where like you're looking at the casket and then you look back at the family. I'm getting chills. You look back at the family in the background. If you don't fucking pay attention, the back of the fucking room standing there is the girl's ghost that's in the casket. Like, and yeah, just absolute chills. Like 100%.
Well, that's just the little bit that we're going to cover on Fall of House of Usher. We're going to do a deep dive, right?
Oh, absolutely. We have to do a deep dive.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did a great job. Bruce Greenwood, so good, and also Carla Gugino. I don't know how to say her last name.
Yeah.
I mean, as Verna, let's give her some fucking props, man. Holy shit. She fucking killed. We've talked about almost everyone else, and I was kind of circling around her. But
She's amazing.
holy shit, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
she did great in Gerald's Game. She did great in Hill House. She was in Midnight Mass as well. I forgot about that. She's not in everything though. There's a couple things that because she wasn't in Dr. Sleep. Neither was his wife. But yeah, she absolutely fucking was. This is head and shoulders above everything else she's done
Yeah.
for him. Like, and not to say any of the other stuff isn't brilliant, but what she did here was fucking incredible. And every time
yeah.
I saw her, it just gave you the chills. It's just like, oh my god, like
So eerie.
it's so good. And it does make me want to dive into Poe more, read a little bit more of Poe, because I'm sure there's a lot of shit I didn't get here. Whereas if he were to do a Stephen King story like this, I would be able to catch way more of it.
Yeah, it just makes you
But-
want the Dark Tower from Flanagan and that much more, right?
Yeah, can you imagine all the freaking things we're gonna see? But yeah, follow the House of Usher. Highly recommend it. I'm hoping if you're listening at this point, you've already seen it. There's a lot of cool stuff in it, though. Another fucking masterpiece from Mike Flanagan. Netflix pretty much went undefeated with Flanagan. I mean,
So good.
I haven't watched Midnight Club yet, but everything else is incredible. So. But that is going to be it for this episode. We do you want to talk about or actually we got emails first. First, you want to email us, you can do that at Peter at geekeryabides.com or Tad at geekeryabides.com. TADD is how you spell Tad. Shoot either of us an email directly if you agree with us on something, disagree with us on something, have a show idea, have feedback, whatever you have. Send it our way, either of us directly, and then next time we'll be back in a fortnight, which is the 4th of November. Peter, it is your show.
Zombies. We talked a little bit about it earlier. This is a suggestion from our fan Carol.
Yep.
She sent it to me saying, how have we not talked about zombies yet? So we're going to talk about
It is-
zombies
it
in
is-
all media.
It is crazy we haven't talked about
TV
zombies.
shows,
Which
there's
is-
movies,
I
there's
also
video games.
love
It's
too,
like
because it's horror movies, and we're moving into November. Because guess what? Spooky season,
24/7, 365.
indeed. 12 months of the fucking year.
That's right.
I mean, of course, there's main spooky season in October and spooky season Eve in September.
Yeah.
The rest of the year still exists. It's just not as special.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna dive into how we came to zombies and everything like that. So
And it's a Hallmark episode too, episode 20.
let's do it.
Moving into the second realm here. We're moving it from the ones to the twos.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be in a couple weeks. We'll be back on the 4th of November. Same bat time, same bat channel. And sign off as we always do by saying, love what you love. To hell with any haters, and let your geek flag fly high. That's what is it? The ghosts put their hands against the fists.
Thrust his fist against the post and still insists he sees the ghost.
Jesus Christ. Yes. What you got anything to say to sign off, sir?
All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream.
Indeed. See you guys.
Bye.